Okay, it seems like the run is starting. So once again, hello, I am Phoenix or Phoenix Down X. You can just call me however you prefer. I am a Final Fantasy III run, and I will be guiding you somehow through the speed run. I hopefully will be joined soon by Dash, who is another Final Fantasy III speedrunner. And as I said before, this is the first time I am commentating, so I hope I will do a good job. And yeah, there's maybe a couple of things I should talk about before the run actually starts, because we do an RNG manipulation before the game even begins. But before that, also let me mention that we do allow the use of turbo controllers for this specific speedrun, because we are a pretty small community, really. So one day we just all joined into the general channel of the Discord, and we decided to allow it because, well, no one likes smashing buttons. And it just makes the run a little faster. But also we allow the use of turbo because this run actually only has one break almost at the start of the run, and then there are no other breaks for like 3.5 hours. But with turbo we do get another break at around like 2 hours and 14 minutes. And with that out of the way, I can talk to you about the RNG. So the way that this game decides which RNG seed you are on is basically the second when you click on start on the game launcher, which means that at every second you will get a different RNG seed.
19時43分16秒、イギリス時間、いわゆるグリニッチ標準時ですね。UTC。
But I don't know who it is that figured this out, but someone has figured out that you can change your PC clock and date to a date that is in the past to get back to previous RNG seeds. So we basically tried to figure out which date and time could give us specific item drops from the first boss fight and then a couple of random encounters later on in the run.
お願いします。はい、グッドラック。
Yeah, good luck to
という
Soul.
ことで、まあ、不法なね、その時間なんだよって話なんですけど、まあ、このゲーム、いわゆる乱数が、
Also,
ゲーム
yes,
起動した時の時間に
I am a
影
little
響されているという
soft-spoken.
ことで、3回ほど、
I hope
まあ、
I
この
can
テクニックを使っ
change the
た、
volume a
まあ、いわゆ
little
る
bit.
乱数調整がございます。まあ、他にもですね、グリッチ、まあ、大きく4つありまして、まあ、今言った乱数調整、それからアイテム増殖、そ
So
し
the
て、エンタープライズ
sorry, the
パワーフル
first
グリッチ
manipulation
と
that I
の
was
散らす大
talking
黒
about
印、まあ、
will
これは乗り物回避
guarantee an Antarctic
まあ、こういうも
wind
のが
drop
ありますので、
at the
そういった
first
ところも含めて
boss
お楽
fight,
しみ
which
く
is
だ
the
さい。
land turtle.
はい、ということで、
And
最初なんですけど、
this item is very useful because it will basically be used for the entire floating continent section, which is a fairly significant portion of the
大地
game
震が起こって洞窟
or
に
the
したところ
run.
からのスタートですね。まあ最初はまあ普通に進んでいきますので。
So I think Dash is here.
そうですね、エンテちょっとダブルヘッダーなのでだいぶ疲れてるかどうかっていうところですね。
Hopefully.
扉が開いたところでエンカウントします。はい。
成功ですね。なるほど、そのあたりもあれですかね。そうですね。乱数調整の判断というか、これできてるね。
I will try to not
ちょ
yell.
っと完全に解析しきれてるわけではないですが、まあある程度なんかこんな感じっていうのがね、わかる感じですね。ということで、ここでロングソードを取ったときに、メニュー画面開いて装備しつつ、コンフィグで記憶と走りですね。記憶はカーソルの記憶ってやつですか。
So another thing also about the RNG in this game is that the RNG changes every time I think you pick up an item from a chest, every time you open the menu, and also every time you get a random encounter. So what you are seeing here is...
Hello? Oh,
Hi.
now you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for being a bit late.
It's okay.
Yeah, so you explained about the Arctic wind manip.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very nice. So, yeah, should we...
I forgot to mention, maybe this is kind of important because credit to where credit is due. This RNG seed was found by Ryder, who is also a Final Fantasy III speedrunner.
Yeah, I think he had a world record at some point, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some time ago before we found the new, what is it, the Nautilus glitch?
Yeah.
That is a very fun glitch. That saves us a lot of time.
Yep, it's a little risky, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Sol is going to save before attempting that, because if you screw it up, you might end up in areas where you're not supposed to be, and you're going to be like locked out of bounds. So
yeah, there's definitely potential to soft lock the game if you're not careful.
I will try to speak like right next to the microphone, okay?
とはいえ、そこまでじゃあご利用せるかっていうと、まあそうでもないボスとかもまあ多々出てきますので、まあそういうところをどういう形で打開していくかっていうのが割とこのゲームの RTA の見どころになってくる。
Yeah, so actually, like, I have this problem even during my streams. I know that I have to boost my mic by a lot. So I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, sometimes microphones can be really annoying to get to work properly.
Yeah.
Mine is probably the one that's loud. Well, someone will probably fix it for us. We can just talk, I guess. So, yeah, about the run right there, he traded a potion for a free Phoenix Down. And of course, Phoenix Down is used to, like, revive dead party members. And we only have one, but we're gonna dupe it.
Yeah, there's going to be, like, we are going to use another glitch to duplicate this item to, like, how many we're gonna get, maybe around, like, 25, 30?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we're actually going to use this item duplication glitch a couple times in the game, both for items such as this one, so items that are really difficult to come by, but also we're going to duplicate items that we will sell for gil, because we're going to need quite a bit of gil.
Yeah. So the duplication glitch only works on items you can use inside of a battle. And it's really cool that this glitch existed on the DS version. It works on the exact same items, but the way you dupe them is completely different, which is really funny. Then it got like patched into this game when they added the auto battle feature, which you will see used a lot because it speeds up like the battle speed. It like makes it 50% faster or double as fast or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean the auto battle feature and this item duplication glitch are the two things that make this run possible, I think, to begin with, or at least that make it as short as it is.
Yeah, the discovery of the dupe, like it's cut like almost an hour, I want to say, off of the run. It took some time for it to be discovered. It was discovered by a Japanese runner who snagged the world record with it. And now, because we like had strats developed with the item dupe from the DS version, it was like it's pretty much a race. Lots of players like wanted to get records using this, the knowledge we had already had from before, and using it on the PC version too.
Like, it's also, by the way, like, it's good that you're here because you've been around this like the Final Fantasy III speedrunning community longer than I have. So you can talk about these things.
I think I've been here for like 8 or 7 years, which is insane.
Yeah, that's quite some time.
Yeah, like when I joined, we spoke on like, I think it was Speed Demos archives, and that's like that's way back in the day, speedrunning wise.
Yeah, I have joined like, when was it now? Like late last year, something like that.
Yeah, so you've been like here for a year then.
Yeah. So I've been here for like the discovery of the new Nautilus glitch. I think that's probably the newest thing I've seen, and then this RNG manipulation.
Yeah. Okay, so someone in chat is asking about like airship 7 minutes in. Yes, indeed, we gain access to an airship like right away. Unfortunately, we're like completely trapped inside this area, so unfortunately we cannot leave. Although there has been 2 instances of people having clipped into mountains, like through mountains with airships. Although not in this spot. It happened once to me on emulator, and I saw some random streamer just fly through a mountain. I've never seen it happen again. It was so weird. So if we made like an iceberg video Final Fantasy III, that would be like at the bottom. Airship clips straight through mountain to escape at the beginning of the game. But
I wish we could replicate that. That would probably save
that would be insane. Like you could just fly away at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, so now, just back to the run. We have put everyone to the back row because all the characters that are in the back row, they take less damage from enemy attacks, and we are basically going to leave them there for the whole run because we are going to be under leveled like all the time basically.
Yeah, and we're not going to use like any physical attacks pretty much, so we don't care that we're in the back row.
Yeah, it's all like item spam and magic.
And here we see the item dupe in action. Each time he cycles through the character, he dupes another item. So now he's duped his Phoenix Downs, I think, and now he's gonna set up the dupe for the other item. So he can like just put it on auto battle and autopilot through all of the random encounters to gain some levels. There we have the new item we got from the first enemy, or the first boss. Deals like 300 damage, and these things have 50 HP total, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, we completely destroy them.
Yeah, we can actually also, I believe, one-shot to the boss here.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Because he's weak to ice, and this is like the strongest ice spell.
Right.
I think it's normally a 1 in 210 chance to get this item drop, but obviously we just RNG manipulate it.
Yeah, it's basically going to be the same for the other items. Like, they are items that are so unlikely to drop that you would never or almost never see them in a normal run, like in a casual run.
Yeah, like in casual runs, you're only supposed to get like very few of these items, then use them once. But here we just, yeah, item dupe is so ridiculously powerful.
It really, really is.
Also, Soul is like getting really bad encounter RNG here, unfortunately. Like how many encounters you get is like what determines how good these runs will be. And worth noting is that the encounters inside each room, it's like independent of each other. So when you reach the next room, like the encounter rate is like reset. So if you can barely go through a room without an encounter, then it's like reset. I don't know if that was explained very well.
Yeah, I mean, I understood.
So here we get the first instance of a 5th party member joining us. They follow us around on the overworld, and then in battle, there's like a random chance they will do an action each turn. And pretty much 95% of all instances is just wastes time. It's not useful at all. It's just annoying.
Yeah. We basically want to never see these NPCs in battle because they don't really help us.
Yeah, it's very rare they're able to kill anything. And even those that heal you can like heal you out of critical health, which is actually a bad thing for us later on in the run.
Yeah, like maybe here at the start, if you have someone in critical and Sarah casts Cura, maybe that's a bit useful.
Yeah, it can be useful here actually, because we don't have cure, we don't have any healing.
Yeah, we're getting potions only later.
Yeah. Here we go, second boss of the run.
The Jinn.
Yes, it's gonna be a very tough fight.
Extremely tough. Look. And there it is, that's the Jinn.
Yeah, that's it. GG. Let's see if he gets the rare item drop. Nope.
What is the item here? Is it the bomb core?
Bomb arm, yeah. Fire equivalent to the ice thing we're using, which is slightly stronger. So it's, I think I've only gotten it once, like in casual playthroughs. And it actually is somewhat useful, but it's not like it's gonna save much time.
Yeah. And in this part, there's just going to be like a cutscene, and this is basically the only break that we get from the game if we're not using the turbo controller.
Yeah.
Because this cutscene is just going to like autoplay, and it doesn't need any inputs. It's just going to show, I think, the credits for the game.
Yeah, we get the credits like 15 minutes into the game.
Is there any other game that does this?
I'm not sure, actually. It's really weird, actually.
Yeah.
I heard of people who thought that the game was over here. They were like mad they paid so much money.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's time, everyone. The run is over.
Yeah, that's it. He killed the Jinn. Maybe we could like explain some of the lore of the game, like why we had to kill that guy. So at the start of the game,
maybe you can take it because I actually don't remember anything about the lore.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to the dialogue anymore when I play, so each time I like try to recite the lore, I get like worse and worse each time, but I know the gist of it. So at the beginning, you play as Luneth and you fall through the ground inside a cave, and turns out there's been a massive earthquake that has like shook the entire continent, like floating continent, and this has caused many bad things to happen. But the one good thing that like got out of this was that Luneth found the crystal, and the crystal sent us out to find the other warriors of light. And as we like travel around the world, we find out that the Jinn has turned everyone in this kingdom into ghosts, and to lift the curse we need a ring that the princess had, but the princess was stuck in the cave, so we had to save her, and then we beat the Jinn, and now we're gonna lift the curse. And we've been blessed by the power of light from the first crystal. So that is the story so far, in a nutshell.
All right. And I think the blessing of the crystal here also unlocks the first 5 jobs, is it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's 5 or more, actually.
Yeah, we're gonna see them soon enough.
Yeah, we're gonna see very much job variety here coming up very soon. I think he changes his jobs right away.
Yeah, I believe that Soul changes the jobs.
Yeah.
Basically, as soon as this cutscene is over.
Yeah, it's the cutscene that tells you to change jobs, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. Gonna turn everyone into red mages. Which is, in my opinion, it's like one of the best jobs, actually, because it's so versatile. You can use it like at any point in the game, and like even casually, and it will work.
Yeah, and I mean, we are going to use the red mage until the very end, so...
Yeah, we are, even against the final boss.
That's right, and that's going to be one heck of a final boss too.
Yeah, it is. That final boss is insane.
Oh my god.
Oh,
the
2
random
encounters
here.
Yeah, you can see him smiling. He's like, oh, not again. He gets another one. That's gonna be really sad. Oh, come on. Okay. I think I've gotten 3 there before, but never 4.
Oh wow.
Like, that's just terrible.
Yeah, like you can go through the whole map without getting any encounters. So getting 2 of them is already fairly unlucky.
Yeah, 1 is like the most common one, I think.
Yeah.
So, about the red mage, they can use both the white and black magic up to level 5. We'll mostly only use them for their white magic, for like healing and stuff. But what makes them really special amongst like the mages is that they can also equip heavy armor. So they are like the only tanky mage in the entire game, which makes them unique and very useful. So, Phoenix, what is your favorite job in this game?
That is actually like a tough question because I remember that I've played this game casually only like, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I don't really remember all of them. But I mean, Red Mage is stylish. It's not just useful, it's also stylish, so...
They really are. I have to agree with you there. But...
Yeah. So that's definitely one of my favorites, at least. Maybe not my favorite. Maybe I think mostly aesthetically, I prefer Bard.
Oh my god, me too, actually.
And they can be pretty useful too, like depending on the weapon that they have.
Yeah, bards are actually so good in this game.
Yeah, you're going to see them also at the very end of the speed run.
It's like a job that just keeps on getting better and better the further in you get.
Summoner is also cool. And
yeah.
Chad is
Ninja, of
bringing
course.
up good points.
Yeah, Ninja's like really cool. And we will actually see ninjas, or at least one ninja in this run.
Oh yes. Ninja's going to be throwing all the shurikens.
Yes, for massive damage, hopefully. And hopefully no misses either.
Like, talking about the run right now, the only thing that has happened is we just did a little bit of shopping here. We bought the some equipment from the Red Mage for the Red Mages. And yeah, and then we just proceeded with the story, basically.
Yeah, we're gonna like crash the airship into like some boulders that are blocking our path. Unfortunately, that also destroys the airship, so now we're stuck on land again. And we're also pretty soon gonna see a relatively new like strat or development. We're gonna pick up the Elixir that can be found here, which we did not used to do before.
Yeah, we used to get elixirs like later on, but we really need an elixir like much earlier than we used to get it.
Yeah, because it's the only item that restores magic.
Yeah. Yeah, does this game even have ethers?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, so here we just saw buying the cures for everyone. There are 4, 1 for each character, and here is the elixir.
Yeah, cure is honestly such a good spell in this game.
It is. Like, even at the end of the game, it's still going to heal like pretty well.
Yeah, because of like the magic system in this game. There's like 8 tiers, which are all completely independent of each other. And cure is in the first tier, which is also the one you have the most of. So in between battles, you can just use as many of them as you want. Just completely heal your party throughout the entire run. Here he equips his stuff, and he does it right before he picks something up. So
yeah,
the thing he picks up is like at the top of the inventory pretty much.
And that item is going to be the mullet, which is actually hidden in this area. Because like this game, I think it's this game that has introduced hidden items in the series, I believe. But yeah, hidden items are just items that you need to figure out where they are and you pick them up. And this mullet is actually really useful because we need to get everyone into the mini status, and this is the only item that will let us do that.
Yep. Also there he just died because of a back attack.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
A good thing about the PC version is that if you die, you can just quit out of the game and then you continue from right before you died. That was not a thing on the DS version. If you died there, then too bad, back to the previous save.
Oh, what a pain.
Yeah, that was horrible, especially considering the final dungeon. Like, there's so much to do, and if you die, it's just over.
共通なところはあるかもしれないですけれども、かなりアイテム欄の運用をチャート上考えられてます。
So here he's duping the Elixir, I believe, and then the mullet soon.
申し上げた通り、基本その北極
Then
の
he
方やら
runs away.
後手に入るいろんなものやらでね、まあ割と
Let's see if he... Yeah, oh, got another encounter. He's had really bad encounter luck so far.
多少の運ゲーがあるもののね、かなり高い。おっと。
Well, it is what it is. Imagine if you could turn off encounters. That would be so good in this game. That would shave off like... Yeah, that would shave off at least half an hour, I think.
Yeah, like, please, Square Enix.
Please.
You're thinking about patching this game, please.
Give us safe travel.
RTA ではあります。はい、そんなわけでドラゴンの住む山に行くとバハムートに連れてられて、そこで出会った男デッシュ。
Here we're just going to see a battle against the Bahamut, but we're actually going to flee because there's just no way we can kill this thing.
I mean, technically, it's possible, but
yeah.
If you played for multiple days non-stop, it's 30,000 HP, and you can deal 1 damage per hit.
Yeah, let's say that it's not very convenient speedrun-wise.
Yeah, no, it's really not. There's no point in doing it. And here we meet the coolest 5th party member. His name is Dash, just like in my name. And yes, that is where I got the name from.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah, it really is. So he gives us the mini spell so we can turn small, but we are far too underleveled to use it yet, so we use the mullets that we duped earlier, so we can enter this mini town.
And we are here to proceed the story, first of all. And we're going to get the a hidden cura. And then talk to the doctor here, who is ill, if I'm not mistaken, and he asks you for an antidote. We give them the antidote, and then he shows us this secret passage that we can use to continue the adventure.
Yep. And we're coming up on the newest glitch in the game. Does it have like a name? Is it just Enterprise glitch or?
Yeah, I think that's it. Enterprise glitch, the ship glitch.
Yep. So it was discovered by was it? Yeah, it was Nanya, another Japanese runner and former world record holder. I think both before we found the item dupe and after.
Yeah, Anya held the world record for quite some time, yeah. Should I explain it or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Basically, we don't even need to talk to the Vikings, I think. We can just go straight for the ship. And we're going to board this ship. And then as we are disembarking, we want to spam the R1 button, which is the map button. And if we manage to trigger the map on the same frame when we get control of our characters, we are going to be teleported across the map, basically. And it lets us skip a significant portion of the game.
Yeah, skip an entire boss and dungeon, actually. So it's a frame perfect trick, so it's not easy to pull off, but you have multiple tries.
Yeah, safety save, because we can also end up in the middle of the sea here. Also, another encounter, because
Gets another encounter.
Thanks, game, thanks.
And then he attacks too, yeah. You can tell if he's gonna get it or not. Like if his character twitches when he gets on land, then he didn't get it. So this may take a few tries. We're gonna do this 3 times during the run, I think.
Yes, I think so.
That's it, I think. Yeah, there we go. So he just warped across the map, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't even remember how much time it saves, but I think it's like at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. And now we're finally gonna kill some enemies again, because now we are extremely underleveled for where in the story we are.
Yeah, we really, really are. And we also need someone who can use the Toad spell, because in the next dungeon we need it to progress.
Yep,
and that's also why we need that's also why we need the elixir from before. Because when you level up in this game, the magic points don't get restored. So we need to use an elixir.
Yep. So this is where we get the Toad spell. Now we're gonna go to the next dungeon and hopefully level up enough when we get to the place.
Yeah, now we are actually okay with getting some random encounters.
Yep.
Not too many though.
なんですけど、一応これリメイク版ならではの、演出的な都合があって、幸いにも、本来のルートに合流できるっていう。
ストーリーのフラグを悪用してっていう感じで、本来だと船はその場に残っているので、積んでる状態だけど、
そうですね。
He's getting a lot of hunters. Yeah, it really is. Like, he's just taking a few steps and then he gets them immediately. And then he has to heal after, like, every single one, too.
Yeah. Like, the game just knows when you're speedrunning.
Yeah. Is he gonna get to the forest? Yeah. So it's actually faster to not go into the forest if you do not get an encounter, but as you can see, it's quite a long stretch of land, so I've only ever seen that happen when you've like done RNG manip.
Oh, he told right away.
Oh, right away. So, yeah, he towed it before he had to, like, strictly speaking. So toads make you more vulnerable to attacks, and you need them to progress here. We're actually gonna keep the toads because they don't have any animations. So right there, he got a lot of levels, and normally the characters will like do like a spin or something, like a jump, which takes some time. But when they're toads, you can just mash A straight through all of the text. So staying as toads can actually save time when you're grinding for levels, which we're gonna do in this dungeon. So we're just gonna stay as toads the entire time, which is really funny.
モーションがカットできるので、この後結構レベル上げするときだったりとかがあったりするので、でちなみにこのストーリーのこの演出のところは
This is quite a long dungeon as well.
これはイメージ映像。
Yeah, it is. Although a lot of rooms are relatively short.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky, you can just get through room after room with very few encounters. Yeah, like we're seeing here, this is like excellent RNG.
Wow. 3 maps with no encounters.
Yeah. So when you move around, the further you move and the longer time you spend moving, the higher chances you have of getting an encounter. But as soon as you get to a new room, then this chance is like reset back to 0. So sometimes you can just get really lucky and get a string of very few encounters, and it just works out perfectly. So this is like his second encounter so far,
Yeah.
or the third. This tower, like, that's really, really good. Another strat he could use is that whenever you have a 5th party member, if you talk to them, it like creates a cutscene, and this cutscene also resets the encounter rate. But the cutscenes take some time to like mash through the text and all of that, so it's usually not worth it. It just becomes like a guessing game. You try to use the cutscene right before an encounter, and it really doesn't save much time, but it is technically an option.
Yeah, I think like mostly we don't do it because, as you said, it's a guessing game. So if we could like manipulate RNG a bit more so that we would know when we get encounters and, you know, talk to the NPC to reset to the encounter rate, then at that point I guess it would become useful. But
yeah,
the way things are right now, it's
honestly speaking, that's probably the future of this category, when we manage to like RNG min like the entire run.
Yeah.
But because there are no tools for this, like routing the manips is very tedious work. It takes a lot of time. So like even just one dungeon can take you like 8 hours. So no one has done it for like larger areas yet.
Yeah, it's just like too much effort.
Yeah, but if someone did it, they could probably cut at least half an hour, maybe more off of this game. So who knows?
Yeah. Like if there is someone who can do it, it's probably solely himself.
Yeah,
Because
I actually have like an idea of how to do it efficiently, but
Interesting.
So on the DS, it's very easy because of emulators. You have access to save states, so you can easily test something and then go back to the save state and test it again to easily map out the RNG. But the RNG on the DS is different compared to the one on PC. Like when you start a game on DS, you always get the same starting RNG, which you also do on PC, but the starting RNG is dependent on the time on your computer, like the date and time. So by manipulating and changing your computer time, you can manipulate the RNG. So I have like a theory that there exists a time on your computer, a date and time, that will give you the exact same RNG as you get on the DS emulator. And if we can find this time, then we can use the DS emulator to manip the PC version. So if someone manages to do that, then we open Pandora's box, basically.
Yeah. See, I've never heard of that theory. I'm very interested.
Yeah. I need to hear with like tool-assisted runners get their opinion of it, because I have no clue how to even approach this problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds a bit complicated, but at least the idea is there.
Yeah. Okay, so now he's in the last room of the tower, at least the last room where he can get encounters, so I think he had a good climb here, actually.
Yeah, like unlike the random encounters in the world map, here they actually went fairly well.
Yeah, sort of, but right now.
There's another encounter just as I said.
Poor soul. It's like so typical to get like really bad RNG on marathons, and there's just nothing you can do. You just can't even reset, I mean. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, the boss is Medusa.
This boss is like a bit scary, maybe?
Yeah, it can get scary. I mean, there's plenty of bosses that actually like should be easy to get through, but then sometimes they just throw you very stupid RNG.
Yeah. Oh, that's really bad RNG. Okay, but they're fine. Use like the worst spell it could have used.
Yeah.
And he's gonna try to revive that guy, and I think it actually worked. That was really lucky, or it was like unlucky, but then lucky again, so it sort of evened out.
Yeah, it's because in this game, like it seems like the monsters and the random encounters and the bosses take action like during the battle instead of before the battle starts, like your characters. So if you revive your character, they can still attack the character you just revived, which is unfortunate.
Like your actions can like change their action through RNG. Worth noting is that all enemies, they attack completely randomly. Like who they target, if they are going to use like spells or special abilities or not, it's completely random. So some bosses are like either super easy, like you don't understand how you could ever have any problems with them, while other times they just spam their most powerful attacks, and you're like, why? Why am I dying so much to this stupid boss?
Yeah, that just... It's always when you are PBing that you get the messiest RNG from the easiest bosses, just guaranteed. Also here Soul is trying to like edge sail, what we call edge sailing. Essentially he's like moving the ship near the edge of the ground here, the ground area, because like doing this seems to lower the chances of random encounters.
Yeah, so it's like on land you get land encounters. Oh wow, he could have... No, probably not avoided that encounter. Unfortunate. But on land you get land encounters, and in water you get water encounters. So between the border between land and water, there's like tiny strips where there are no encounters. So by walking near the edge or sailing near the edge, you can reduce the amount of encounters you get. There he also used this teleporting glitch again. So
see, this is why I like having you here, because you have all this insight that I just do not have.
yeah, so I'm also the one who discovered that trick actually.
See?
Also, that one NPC there is like inside the ground. It's funny. I think we're not gonna see him again.
Yeah, there are some random like graphical glitches here in this game.
Yeah, we're gonna see some at the end. It's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, in here we've done just some shopping, basically, get more protective equipment for the red mages and the teleport magic.
Yes,
I think
it's really useful.
Or like one for each character.
Yeah.
Sometimes we buy only 2, like it depends on the runner.
Yeah.
And
I like to get one for everyone. It's just so practical.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does make it easier. And now that we have like a few less problems with the Gil, it's probably better to just get 4 of them.
Yeah. So here we buy even more equipment. Notably, it's ice equipment, so it reduces damage from fire attacks, which will come in handy later on. Oh,
Yeah.
talk to the guy again. Yes, turbo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like most Japanese runners has that.
Mm-hmm. But I think we kind of all use it now.
Yeah,
because
we do.
Like it just makes things a bit faster, so and it gives us the like extra break later on.
Yeah, it was like no one was against it pretty much, so we just all agreed, let's allow it.
Yeah. Now here we're just going to run away from all the random encounters until the boss.
Yeah, gonna do that for like a few of the next dungeons. Someone in chat saying that that model looks good. It's funny that they say that about that enemy, because it's like my least favorite enemy in the entire game, because I think it looks so ugly. I hate that enemy.
Yeah, it looks very odd.
Like the model is good, but it looks so ugly with a human face and hair.
Yeah.
Look at them. And they also can petrify you, which is just annoying.
Yeah.
Like they just annoy me. Go away.
This is actually something that I didn't see. I hope he bought some gold needles. I think he did, right?
I don't know. But there are like some in chests scattered around here, just in case.
Mm.
でここのボス盗賊グッズ工は、まあ、ボス全般ですけれども、結構バランス調整なんかも入ってましてね、結構 HP 上がったりとか強くなったりしてるんですけど、結構もう2回行動してくる。
Like you can get through here also without any random encounters, but
yeah, it's rare.
場合で言うとミニマム使ってきたりとかもするので、ミニマム
that monster's bad breath. It can like turn you into Toad and blind you, poison and paralyze like all at the same time. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a back attack.
That breath is like the worst thing in Final Fantasy, I think, because that's something that is recurring, especially with the heroes.
Everyone's favorite recurring attack. Let's go. At the last encounter right before the boss. You love to see it.
Yeah. That just always happens. Especially if you just got out of a battle, healed, and then you have one last pixel before the boss, and then you immediately get the random encounter.
Yeah. It's so annoying. Also, this is like one of the most trivial bosses in the game. He's so easy when we have item dupe.
Yeah, we just basically spam the Antarctic wind and that's it.
Yeah, he's not strong enough to be a threat. But we will fight him again, like the same in-universe character. It's gonna be the next boss too.
Yeah, the second time it's going to be a little bit scarier.
Yeah, it's like the destroyer of casual runs.
Yeah, unfortunately it has that fire breath ability that can hit the whole party. That can be a bit dangerous.
Yep. But I think we're safe in the run, even if we do get hit by it, because he only has, or he should only have one chance to use it, unless you're like extremely unlucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like on the first turn he never uses it. So hopefully he will also just not take a second turn at all.
Yeah.
But some can, so we just hope to not see the fire breath. Also, that guy, Gotsko, apparently can turn into a shadow and just follows the party around.
Yep, and then he waited for the golden opportunity to steal the horns right back, so he can obtain the power of fire.
And that's how he's going to turn into a more dangerous boss.
Yes.
The salamander.
This is the dungeon where we walk through lava, just completely casually.
Yeah. It's like 1,000 degrees or something. We're just chilling.
Just chilling in the lava.
We
do take damage there though.
Yeah, like 1 HP or something.
Yeah, it's 10 each time the screen like flickers.
But I mean, for walking inside hot lava, it's all relative, really.
Yeah. Is it gonna get through the room without any encounters? Let's see. Got a small stretch left.
Oh my god.
Oh!
Right.
I thought he actually made it.
So like just one people before the door.
Like, it's possible to do something that's called like stutter stepping, where you tap the direction you want to go, and by doing that you can get further without getting encounters. So maybe we should look into that, because it's relatively common to see people get an encounter right before the exit there. It may actually be worth implementing.
Yeah. I think we could like test it at some point.
And here we see this guy just turn into a salamander. It's so random.
Yeah, like you just have these NPCs that look one way, and then they get in the battle and just a completely different creature.
Yeah, and there's like no explanation for it. It's just, well, now you're fighting this thing, and they look like this. We're gonna see that like a handful of times.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. No fire breath. So now we're soon gonna see 2 new jobs being used. 2 very, very useful jobs in this run. because we reach the next crystal. Every time we reach a crystal, we get new jobs. So
ここで手に入るジョブがまたプラスで、5ジョブですね。狩人、ナイト、シーフ、学者、風水師の3つです。
最近、ピクセルリマスター遊んだ方とかはね、
はいはい。
わかると思うんですけど、学者にアイテムの知識というアビリティがあります。もうこれだけでね、どうなるかわかる方もね、いるんじゃないかなと思うんですけど。
はい。その効果はですね、アイテムの使った効果2倍です。
So we're just going to go back to this the dwarven hollows. We're going to give the dwarves this item back. I forgot what it's called.
And the horns of ice.
And then we're going to talk to this other dwarf right here who just moonwalks his way down the stairs. And
yes,
we're going to follow him, and we're going to reach this little area with lots of chests. So we're going to get almost all of them basically. And a lot of it is equipment for the new job that we're going to use, which is the scholar. And there's also an extra elixir. Yes, and the knight. And this is actually also the place where we used to get the elixir before we discovered the Enterprise glitch. But yeah, getting one extra elixir is always nice.
Yeah. So the thing about scholars that makes them really useful is that when they use items, their effect is doubled, so it's twice as powerful. And on top of that, their intellect stat is like S-class, which means it's like they have the highest intellect stat in the game. And that gets like doubled when they use items as well, so they hit extremely hard.
Yeah. And actually, I think that in the game someone like suggests you to use the scholar job. I don't remember who it is. I believe that there's an NPC that just tells you like, you're going to need a scholar to defeat Hein.
Yeah, Hein. Because he changes his weakness like often, and a scholar can they have the study ability, which is like the same as Libra. It shows their weakness. But like it takes an entire turn to use, so it's really useless against him really, because he can change it like right after you use Libra anyways.
Yeah, you're not gonna see Soul using that ability here.
We're just use it against some like one of the bosses later on, because it also removes protect.
Yep. Yeah, like right now I think we're just going to spam the Antarctic winds and hope for the best.
Yep. There's the beautiful edge walking.
Nice.
ストーリーフラグを回収し忘れてると何も起こらず動けるってなります。あ、やべってリセットします。
やべ、そう。悲しみのリセット。
Now we are in Castle Hein, which, in my opinion, has the best dungeon music in the game.
Yeah, it's really good.
And then we're going to use the mini spell again, because we need to get through this tiny gap in the wall here. And then we're going to use mini again to remove the status and just hope that we don't get too many encounters.
Yeah, I feel like the encounter rate in here is relatively low, which is nice.
Yeah, it should be, yeah. Though once again, sometimes we just see so many random encounters that we start wandering like, see?
Oh, wow, that is unfortunate. the trend continues.
なんか痛いな。
あ、でもギリ生存ですね、これね。こんな感じで、こう、一つ一つ。
So there's this dungeon and one other later on that has this music. And both of those dungeons are really cool in my opinion.
大体こうですよ。
Yeah, they are.
あ、まあこれは
They have like
まあ
a
まあいいですね。
pretty unique look to them.
はい、でこれで、
Yeah,
でここは
this
ちょっ
one
と
is
リメ
like,
イク版ならではの
yeah, because this dungeon is like inside of a tree. A giant tree that the boss we're gonna fight, he like hexed it and cursed it to move around and
あとそうこの
carved tunnels inside to imprison people. That's why we're gonna stop him.
結構絞られてまして、最大でも3体、イベントで唯一4体はあるんですが、だから敵も数が少なくなっている分、結構
Hopefully this will be the last encounter.
If he gets another one, that would be insanely unlucky. Let's see.
あ、そう、混乱されたら逃げられないのはファミコン版の仕様ですね。
Okay, checking the gear.
これだと一応そういう仕様はないんです。
He got through.
敵とかでね、逃げられないみたいなのもありますけど、これはないですね。リメイク版は。はい、そしてハインズです。はい、先ほど、言ったバリアチェンジで弱点を変えてきます。ファミコン版だと
And now we have to hope that Aina gets the ice weakness because we're still going to use the Antarctic wind.
Yeah, that's the strategy, no matter what he does. So I think if he doesn't change his weakness, we still kill him anyways. Let's see. Okay. Oh, unless he kills one of our scholars.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the barrier shift, changing his weakness. Yeah, change to resisting ice. That's the most common.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what matters.
Yeah, unfortunately Luneth died, but what can you do?
That's just the game.
Indeed. So now we're gonna get like a few cutscenes and moving around. You get a ship again, finally, one that can fly.
But first we need to go to the Castle Argus, right?
Yeah.
To get the Wheel of Time. And then give that to Sid in Canaan. And then Sid is going to talk to us and like tell us the real story behind the four main characters.
Yeah. The story in this game, sometimes it's not very clear in my opinion, even when you're playing it, you kind of forget. But
Yeah.
it's still there, it's just not very visible. Maybe a bit generic, I guess.
Yeah, like I would say that this game is not really the greatest in terms of the narrative or like the characterization.
Yeah, it's really not.
I feel like that at least even looking at the graphics, maybe the demographic was like young kids or something.
Yeah, probably.
So at least like when you think about it that way, maybe, you know, that makes a little more sense that it's not, you know, too great of a story, just, you know, easy to follow, nothing too special, just
yeah,
nothing amazing. Oh, and here Sol is activating this little switch which opens up a secret passage, and we're just going to go through it and reach this roof area, and then we're going to get to this door and open it with a magic key. And then we're going to get these 4 chests. Or rather, only 4 of the 6 chests that are here. They are books for our scholars and I think a scholar. And then we're going to teleport out.
あ、待って、飛べなかった。
Yep.
決定機連打してました。すいません。
この後向かうのが、一旦ギサール、あれか、菊電したかな。
そうですね。とりあえず、カナンに
そう
寄ってって
ですね。にしてから、ギサールですね。
You know, one time I actually got a random encounter on the land right before I entered Canaan, so...
Yeah, it's very possible. And very annoying if it does happen.
Yeah.
So here, Sid fixes our ship, and then he says like, okay, now you guys can finally return to your world. And everyone here is like, our world? What do you mean?
Yeah. And then they make this expression here, like they're very surprised. It looks kind of funny.
Yeah. And then he drops the backstory. He was just like an airship person showing people around. Suddenly, weird things happened and they crashed. And he was the only survivor alongside these 4 characters that we play as. And then we could never return to where they came from earlier. But now they finally can. Because this world, this floating continent where these characters live, it's like a flat world within. It's like the flat Earth, basically. There's an edge. And we're gonna fly off the edge.
But right before we do that, we need to stop to Gizal. And we're going to stop here because we need to buy some magic keys, which we will use later on in the Temple of Time, I believe. And then we're going to go through this little secret passage and get a shuriken.
Yep. Also, fun fact, you can clip out of bounds in that room. There's nothing to do there. Here we go, flying off the edge of the world into darkness. So the area they're about to enter has really nice music, actually. It's a shame we only get to hear it for like so little time in this run.
Yeah, it's going to be like really, really short, but it is like top tier. If not the best song in the game.
Yeah. Like this song and the final boss theme, those are like the 2 really good songs here. Also, we may see the final dungeon here. We're gonna fly past it, the Crystal Tower. But looks like we did not see it. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're kind of flying blind.
Yeah. We just basically we try to time like the way that we are flying without opening the map, just because opening the map is a time loss basically, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Soul opened it just to make sure.
Yeah, I didn't miss it, just went flying into the void.
Yeah, and now we're here and we meet Arya, who is very useless in terms of like battle, unfortunately.
Yeah, she's not just useless, she's like annoying. Like she can make things worse actually.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that like most of the times you will see her casting Protect, which doesn't really help us. At least while we're fleeing from random encounters, that doesn't really do much.
And being at critical health, which is relatively easy to get to, it has like some special properties that we could have taken advantage of. But since she can heal us out of it, then there's like no point in doing it, because it won't work. And I also think he's gonna do RNG manip here, right? Or what do you think?
エンティをナイトに買い忘れてるので、この後買います。忘れてました。はい。
危なかった。
危なかったです。
関係してるかな。
ここは一応変えてなくても落ちはするんですけど、死んじゃうので経験値が。
あ、そうですね。
ナイトじゃないと。
ナイトじゃないと。
しまった。言うつもりなかったのに。
奏者解説ももう南極の風か北極の風がもうふんだんに増やして。
Yeah, so anyways, here we see finally we see the knight here, which is one of the best defensive jobs in the game. You can equip some really good gear, and the knight will defend party members when they're at critical HP. Like if they get hit by a physical attack, the knight will block it automatically. Here we quit out of the game to do the RNG manipulation. So, yeah, seems like my co-commentator has some issues, so he'll probably be back shortly. So in the meantime, he's finally loaded back into the game, and the manip should be relatively easy. Just get into this encounter, and then do a very specific set of inputs. Like the timing of the inputs are not relevant, as long as you do the right inputs for the turn. And you'll end up killing the enemies, and they will drop an earthen drum, which is like it casts Quake. And Quake hits everything on the opposing field, like it hits multiple enemies at once. It's like the only such item that does this for us, and we're gonna use that later on. It actually didn't pay attention there if he got it or not, but I assume it did. Yeah, there it is. So we get it earlier than intended here with this RNG manip that he found.
Sorry, like my laptop just decided to turn itself off for some reason.
Yeah, it happens. I just explained the RNG manip.
Okay, nice.
Which is not the last time we're gonna see, actually. We're gonna see it be used once more. Also, another added benefit of this RNG manip is that all of these encounters will be the exact same every time. So, this dungeon should be pretty free now, I think. Even the boss at the end should be consistent, and that boss is known for being like a boss that can wipe your party if you're unlucky.
Yeah, like most time you will get through it fairly easily, but sometimes it just wrecks you.
Yeah, because he can use Blissara, which deals massive damage to your entire party, or just straight up one-shots one of your guys. He can either do that, or he can use Blind, which does absolutely nothing to you, or he can just use regular attacks too. But if he uses Blind, he's like free. If he uses Blissara, then he's annoying.
Yep. We want to see as much blind as possible.
Yeah.
使った時間に対して、
Yeah, there you see the knight blocking, like a party member at critical health. That's something we're gonna use a lot throughout the run, because it's really good. Another great thing about the knight is that they have the second highest HP growth in the game, which we really need. Because the scholars, they have the lowest HP gain in the game, which is really unfortunate. So, because we use scholars so much, we sort of cripple our characters when it comes to HP, because they get so little. But it does work out in the end, like scholars are just too good to pass up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going to like fix this later on with the lake door grind.
Yeah, the grind. It's gonna take like 20-25 minutes maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Always if he goes for level 39.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure he's going to, because...
Yeah. That entire grind can be cut out if we crack the RNG code, which is insane to think about.
My god, can you imagine this run being like 2.5 hours?
Oh, it would be really nice, but at the same time it would be horrible to play it, because if you slip up once it can just completely ruin the entire run. That's how the DS version currently is. It's just RNG manip throughout the entire run, and you've got to be so careful not to do any mistakes. It's really tough to run, but it saves so much time, like it's like unfair how much time it saves. Okay, time for Kraken. So, I wonder if I actually haven't paid enough attention to his previous runs to see if he carries the RNG with him throughout the entire dungeon to get the same boss fight each time. I would have thought that that's what he does, but I'm not sure.
I'm actually not sure myself. Like I have followed most of his runs, but I actually like don't pay so much attention to all the random encounters to really remember. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah, he's playing as if it's not random, like he's doing the exact same thing, but yeah, maybe that's just how it works out. Yeah, in this cutscene, it's a bit hard to RNG manipulate, because the crystal generates random particles, so like the RNG advances like every few frames, which means if you don't mash through the text quick enough, you get different RNG. But because he has turbo, he should be able in theory to completely get around this and always get like the same RNG cycle in a way.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, judging by his reaction, this is not RNG manipped. So maybe he doesn't know about it. He hasn't done manip DS runs. Oh, his red mage died actually. Oh, is he gonna make it? I guess we'll see right here. Okay, he's gonna try to revive Ref. Yeah, that's a bit risky. But we see blind. my god, is this gonna
Succeeded,
work?
actually.
Wow, that was well done. And lucky in a way.
そうなんですね。
Yeah, that could have ended horribly.
はい。
Yeah, it really could.
リスク取った甲斐があったぐらいの感じですね。
So there is a bit of a language barrier between the Japanese and the English runners. Like when one of like the communities finds like a trick or a skip or a technique, like the others gotta like analyze the footage and find out how it works and why it works. It's not always obvious. Sometimes you don't even realize that they're doing something, and it's like hard to tell them. Like the edge sailing that we showed earlier, I had to like tweet it to like the Japanese runners and like tag them like, here, do this. I made like a very clear tutorial video specifically made for them.
とはいえこれでこの世界の
And then we usually use like Google Translate to talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's a bit impractical, but it sort of works.
住んでる人たちはね、まあ時が止まっていたみたいな
Yeah,
感
I
じ
mean,
だった
for
から
the
何事もな
most
かったかのよ
part,
うに
it's alright.
そのまままた
Yeah,
活動
but
して
like here, it's clear that
ここはちょっと
he
記録の追加シーンですね。
like he has a lot of, or I don't know, he has experience RNG manipulating. But I like RNG manip or routed the entirety of the DES run twice, so I have a lot of experience doing it. So if I could have just like talked to him more, he could have like refined his few RNG manips he does throughout the runs, instead of having to like rediscover everything, which makes it harder for him. But he's done a really good job in this game. Like he has pushed it so far. It's incredible.
Oh yeah. Like he's the one that found the other two RNG seeds, the one for the earthen run that he got earlier, and also the other one that we're going to see, I think after the next dungeon.
Yeah,
Where he
I think
gets
the next
the
one,
Jewel of
yeah.
Wrath.
Yeah, it's a 1 in 1,000 chance to get it. So who knows how much time he spent trying to get a manip that works.
Yeah, like he is really dedicated.
Yeah, he is. I remember when I tried looking for that manip for the DS version, I actually got it on my second attempt, which is insane. I was like prepared for doing this for hours and for multiple days, and then I got it on my second attempt.
Wow.
ここで一旦ジョブの変更、一人ナイトに変えますね。エンテイをナイトに変えます。結構ね、ナイトに
Yeah, so there he changed Luneth back into a knight. He only changed him to a scholar specifically for the Kraken fight. I wonder if he could like get around doing that with RNG manip. But then again, then he'd only have 2 scholars for that fight. That's a bit low. So maybe not.
Yeah, I feel like 2 might deal a bit too little damage. But
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, if we find good RNG that, like where Kraken uses blind every single turn.
Yeah, could work. Also, we really want this red mage. If you've paid attention, you can see that he always guards with the red mage pretty much. Well, at least when he's not running away from enemies. But whenever they're killing enemies, he uses guard. Okay, he's not doing it here. But he often will do that. Try to have the red mage do an action on a turn. Because any actions, especially guard, it counts towards job levels. And we want to level up the red mage as much as possible for the end game to make their healing as powerful as possible.
We are going to need that.
Yeah, and also here, it's the only time in the game when you fight against 3 enemies at once.
4.
Oh yeah, obviously 4.
第一のドラムを見、うん。
あ、まあそうですね。割り込めればよかったですけど。
そうそうそうそう。 まあ、あとはね、第一のドラム見つけるより前だとね、北極の風でやるので、ちょっとその
Is
辺は
this
時間か
also
かっ
like
たりしたんですけど、まあこれで、
the only forced
左の
fight
おじさん
aside from the first one, like at the very beginning? Is this the
Um,
only like forced fight with the monsters that you find in random encounters?
no. I believe there's at least one more. I'm trying to think if there's more than just one more. But before the next, or before Garuda, there's like those 3 golden knights you fight in the tavern.
Right.
But except for that, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I have it written down somewhere. Like I have made like an experience chart for the game, where I like document every encounter you're like expected to get. But I'm not gonna find that here or right now, because it mostly applies to RNG manips, because RNG manips only work at specific levels. Like if you try to do one manip at a different level, it may not work. So because of that, managing your experience became crucial.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Soul here is getting a bit unlucky because having like 2 random encounters in this room.
Yeah. It's not ideal.
Hmm.
He's gonna kill them for experience though, because we sort of need it for one of the upcoming bosses.
Yeah. I think that like we also need at least a Revia at level 17. I believe that like when Soul discovered this RNG manip, he also said that you need Revia at level 17.
Oh yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Probably has to do with her either outspeeding or being slower than a specific enemy, something like that.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, because we are the random encounter that we get the Chocobo Wrath from is I believe 2 wizards, and they can definitely one-shot the whole party if they cast a spell on the first turn.
I thought Soul's and it was against 1 wizard and 1 like kangaroo. Maybe I'm wrong.
Could be that actually.
But yeah, either way, if it goes wrong, then first of all you won't get the item you want, but you may also just die. So. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about these 4 old men. In the story, they believe that they are the 4 chosen warriors of light. And when they hear about us like arriving here, they tried to beat us to the punch and like go to the sewers, and then we had to save them. But they did end up helping us in the end, so.
Yeah, they're just nice old guys.
Yeah.
Just want to have some fun.
Yeah, that's how I want to be when I grow old. Okay, so now it's time for the RNG manip. Changes like the time on his computer again, and then he launches the game at a specific second. And luckily that does not interfere with like your recording when you live stream, which is sort of surprising because you can't go to regular websites when your time is not synced up. It just doesn't work. Through some miracle, streaming still works.
Yeah, I believe it depends also on what you use to stream, because
yeah, probably.
I believe I've tried using the manipulation with what was it? Streamlabs. I think that with Streamlabs it crashes, but I think that OBS Studio doesn't crash.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, that's how it works.
Well, mine usually crashes when I close it, but no problems before that.
And who knows?
Yeah. So you were right, it was against 2 magicians. So
I remembered.
yeah. Maybe it's in the DS manip where it's 2 different monsters.
Okay. And now here I think we're still going to like grind a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we need, or rather it's safer to go against gold or at level 19, I believe.
Yeah. That and also the fact that you need the HP to survive against the next boss again. It's Garuda.
Although I guess it's kind of always a gamble with Garuda.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you think you have enough HP, but she will still destroy your party.
Yeah.
I guess it depends also like on the damage roll of lightning.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the ability that we need to be scared of.
Yeah. He can use that like at any time, and if you're under leveled, he can just instantly start off the battle to use lightning and one-shot your entire party.
Yeah, and if that happens, we need to reset.
Although that should be pretty easy to fix with RNG manip, but since he has the Chocobo's Wrath, which is just so powerful, I don't really think there's any need to, because even if he does use lightning, he should survive. But we could probably cut out this grind.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that Chocobo Wraths deal enough damage to Garuda that if at least one of them, I don't know if you need 2.
I think you need 2.
2.
You should definitely kill.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough, who is it? Ark and Refia should use the Chocobo Wraths before Garuda gets a turn.
Yeah.
But before Garuda, we have Golder here.
Yeah, he used to be a real threat to your party, but with the Chocobo's Wraths, he's really not that hard. Like in the game, several people says that his armor is so strong that magic just bounces right off him. He has really high magic defense.
Yeah.
But Chocobo's Wrath, they hit so insanely hard that yeah, he's really no issue, even with super high magic defense.
Yeah, as you can see.
So he's gonna destroy the crystal, which is terrible.
Yeah, that is also going to very conveniently leave a key for us to unlock the airship. Or the ship / airship.
Yeah, because he locked it up. Have you ever forgot to pick up the key?
Luckily, no.
I think it's happened like once to me. It's like the dumbest thing ever, because it's not included in the cutscene. You need to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But if you forget, then you just look like an idiot when you get here.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to think if, like, when I played this casually, if I forgot it or not.
Like, they do point it out in the cutscene, like, first things first, let's get the key. Like, still, you may be distracted and just, or absent-minded and teleport out. But in this town, this is where we used to get the earthen drum, but because we already have it, we don't need to pick it up. But there's some really good armor here, so we're gonna buy that.
Especially, I think the more useful things are the feather caps. I think they should make the characters faster.
Yeah, they do. Also, every single job can equip them.
Yeah,
And we're gonna see the last time we're gonna do this trick.
Mhm.
Skips cutscene, so let's see. Third time's the charm.
強くないな。
No.
船の位置もね、これ微妙にこうなんか動いたりするんですよね。このエッジのこの、なんつうの補正みたいなのがかかって。
よし、いった。
はい。
There you go.
Ah, yes.
ただ、城に入っちゃうと、またそれはそれでイベント
First try.
ギリのところです。
Also, you can see him there. He walks on the outside of the forest, because you can only get encounters inside the forest. So if you're really stupid, you try to like make sharp cuts on the forest, and then you end up getting an encounter, and it's horrible. It's happened to me before.
それを無視してエンタープライズワープグリッジで動画の館に飛ぶこともできるので、これもなんかここのサロニアのガルダ戦カットできんじゃねっつって結構ね海外勢含めて検証なんかが行われたりしたんですけど、そのまま進めていくと、動画、
And here's the battle that we were talking about
パワーア
before.
ップさせるっていうイベントがあって、
Yeah.
そこでこうなんか呪文のデハビド
The last forced non-boss battle,
フリーズするというね、
I think,
悲しい結果になりま
滅
す。
びの呪文に。
そう滅びの呪文です。
いやー、ガルーダを飛ばしたらどれだけこのゲーム。
まあガルーダがね、運ゲーです。
Also, by doing this glitch, we actually get to keep our airship, which is supposed to get destroyed here in a cutscene. So it's pretty cool that we get to keep it.
Yeah. I don't think we use it anymore after this.
No, we don't have any use for it, but
It's still
it's cool
pretty
nonetheless. Also, it's like almost possible to skip this whole thing, because you can use the ship glitch to access the place you're supposed to go next. But unfortunately, the game crashes because it like changes a new airship we're gonna get, but because we don't have it yet, the game just crashes.
ここほどもう顕著なものはないですね。まあ今までもちょいちょいありましたけど。
Where next, please patch it.
Yes, please. So we're about to face off against Garuda, one of the most notorious bosses from this game, because he is just so unfair.
Yeah, this is a fairly big gatekeeper.
そうなんですよね。
Like this boss can ruin runs very easily. With the chocobo rats, it's less likely, but
yeah, you're very favored to win now.
Fingers crossed.
ギガメスというのがこの王様を操ってる悪いやつでもなんかちょっと目が可愛い。愛する子供をするぐらいなら。
And of course, in classic Final Fantasy III style, this man will turn into a bird. Also, we see Soul praying here.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Okay, one hit. Only needs one more. Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. That was lightning.
Yeah, we really don't want to see that also because resetting at this point means that we need to watch the cutscene yet again.
Yeah. I think the Japanese people call Garuda, they call him Kuso bird.
Yeah.
And I think Kuso, that means like death, right? Or to kill?
I think it just means it's not a nice word.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
allowed to say it.
Okay, there we go. That's what it means. It's a very fitting name for him
数の乱数次第で大体瀕死
because
できる場合は瀕死になる
this
の
boss
で、
is
その後の
just
殴りを
terrible.
カバーえるっていうのがあるので。
はい。
いやー、これ、僕最高で7回か8回ぐらいここでハマったことあるので、ちょっと
I feel like that's
どうなることや
also
らって感じで
like a trend. Like
あとは
to
まあ、
use
学者の
that word also
速度
for
の怒り
other
にね、成功す
bosses
る失敗もある
because
んですよね。
they're
大判定だと
basically
5000
like
割っ
the
ちゃうから、
final
ガルーダの
boss
HP 8万
and
に対して、
one of
そ
the
うですね、仲間同士まで
bosses
必要になってきて、
before it,
はいはい
like
仲間
the
同士が
third
な
to
かなか
last
耐えられない
boss
んで
are
すね。いくら
also
そうなんですよね。
pretty mean.
2回目です。
Yeah.
はい。お願いします。
Let's see if it works this time.
Ah.
Oh, oh.
はい。
Oh no.
落ちますね、やっぱりね。
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Lightning first thing, turn 1.
あ、よかったですね。これのために一応予定時間かなり多めに取ってるので。
そう、それもあるんです。
そうですね。
So it looks like
ボスが
he doesn't have enough HP to survive lightning attacks. I thought that the grind ensured that, but
ハマりすぎるとっていうところはあるので。
そうですね。
maybe
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I mean, technically it should help, but lightning, like it depends on the damage roll.
Yeah.
この EST 設定は何
So
回
casually, the game really wants you to use the Dragoon jump because their jump
Yeah.
deals extra damage, and it's like super effective against flying enemies, which he
その
is.
次にガルーダ。その次に
You can buy wind spears, which also deals extra damage, so
3位ケルベロス、2位ガルーダ。
it's like how most casual runners get past him.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I did it too. So
Yeah. Before we on the item dupe on the PC version, we did use, I think, only one Dragoon, and we used like bards and haste on him to like max up his attacks, so he could launch 2 devastating attacks, which would be enough, just barely enough to kill him.
はい、お願いします。
But here we have even less HP than we did there, and less like protection in a way because of no bards. But, let's see, 3rd time's the charm, right?
最初から
There we
そ
go.
れやれよ。
いや、これなんだよな。
first try.
First try.
最初の5300入って
Like, if he doesn't use lightning, then he's no threat at all, but he really likes to use lightning. I think it's a 50% chance every time he attacks. Except enemies can only use 1 non-physical attack each turn. So he can't use lightning twice in 1 turn, that's impossible, but outside of that it's like a coin flip each time he attacks if he uses it or not. So now we're gonna enter like a long period of time where there are no bosses actually. I think the next boss is after we're done with the grind as well, so like in more than half an hour, I think.
もらうことができます。
Let me check.
はい。で、冒頭説明した通り、このノーチラスにもね、バグがございますので、これがいわゆる最後に出てくるバグ技。
I think there's like 5 dungeons.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the 5th one, it's a boss.
関数調整、アイテム増殖、
One of those dungeons we're gonna grind.
ノーチラス大ブックリッジですね。
Some of the dungeons are like to get items, and others are for story, and one is for grinding.
評価されて、潜水艦
Mm-hmm.
になる。
And a lot of this could, in theory, be skipped with really good RNG maniped routes.
お楽しみに。
It would almost be a shame if those were to be discovered, because this route People have spent countless hours on this route to polish it and make it as optimal as possible. And then if RNG Minute came around, it would just instantly obsolete pretty much everything.
さあ、そして、あ、ここにゃー、あ、にゃーじゃない。ファミコン版だとにゃーなの。そう。この時は、モーグリのね、設定も固まってなかったですからね。多分3がこのモーグリ初登場で、4が多分出てこなくて、5で、まあ、クッポーですね。はい。そして、この、動画が出てきまして、まあ、もともとはこの、FF3 のこの世界に、まあ、魔法そのものを作ったとされるこの大魔導士ノアというものがいて、そのノアの取った3人の弟子がこのドーガ、そしてウネ、そしてザンデという3人ですね。
So there he bought Kuraga, which is the strongest spell we're gonna get in this run, I think. Kuraga also exists, but we're not gonna use it.
Yeah, we don't need it, at least for this route.
Yeah.
I think, like before all of these manipulations and some of these glitches were found, some people used to like follow a different route where you would use Sage for the final boss, and I believe that in that route, then you know, they would buy Kuraja.
Yep, to get stronger heals. Because Kuraga with red mages, it doesn't fully heal you. So the idea with the Sage is that they're the slowest healer. So you would try to be slower than the final boss. Because the final boss is just horrible. It can be faster than your fastest mage, and it can be slower than your slowest mage. Even if you count for haste on either the boss or yourself, so it's just completely horrible. If it uses like its super attack right after your heal, and then the next turn uses it before you heal, then you just lose, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. The final boss is just pure RNG sometimes.
Yeah, it's horrible.
まあ、あとはね、動画がフレア使ってくれると、その分、まあ、チョコボの怒りを使わなくて済むので、1個分増えるとか、まあ、そういうのもあったりしますね。チョコボの怒りは1500ギルで売れるということで、まあ、後の金策というところにも関係してきますと。
So, a development that I think Sol was responsible for, maybe with some of the other Japanese runners, that was to actually grind here as well, like on your way to the grinding spot as well, instead of like running away until you get to the grinding spot. It actually does save time to grind along the way too. But yeah, it took some time before we could test it all and find out which was truly faster.
ハビドムーカイネです。皆さんもね、ノーチラス持ってないときにゼハビドムーカイネはやめてください。世界が崩壊してしまいます。
Here we're finally at the end of the first of the 5, I think, dungeons.
Yeah. It's also in this cutscene that the game would crash if you tried to skip the previous boss. So now this mage, he made it so that our ship can go underwater. So we're gonna visit underwater caves and dungeons to find things.
And it also gives us the possibility to do another glitch later.
Yes, a fantastic glitch.
So here I think we're going to go into the sunken cave now and gather gold. Or probably a lot of chests, I don't remember.
Yeah, we get some.
in this round.
Yeah, we get some really good gear in here, and also the enemies give really nice experience. Fortunately, you got back attacked here. Ooh. Like the really bad things about back attacks is that the party gets all put on the front row, so they become extra vulnerable to attacks.
Yeah, and you can see the result of that right here.
Oh. Almost a white. I see him smiling. You know he's annoyed by that.
Yeah. These encounters are just insane.
Yeah, and there's just nothing you can do about it, which is really frustrating. Also, wow. One final encounter right before the end just to rub it in.
At least we haven't seen any of the like flying items, flying enemies.
Yeah, the DOS mares, because they are immune to Quake. They're the only enemies in here that are immune.
Yeah, if we run into those, then Sol needs to switch from using the Earth Drum to using the Antarctic Wind, which is a bit of a time loss, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it takes time to set up the dupe.
Yeah, they still give good EXP, but...
Yeah. It's annoying.
Preempt.
Yeah. Can you like recognize or like read the Japanese symbols or anything like that?
Sorry?
Can you like read the Japanese? Do you understand anything?
Technically I should be able to read like hiragana and katakana. I don't know how to read kanji.
Yeah.
Only like very few of them, but then I'm not always sure about what I'm reading. Like I know how to read them, but
okay,
I don't know what I'm reading. What about
what
you?
it says. Yeah, so I can't read it, but I played the Japanese version on DS, so I recognize the important words and items and things like that. I can like tell when he gets like random item drops and which items those are, but can't read the text or like pronounce it or anything like that.
I mean that's still nice.
Yeah, that's the more practical thing to be able to do at least.
Yeah, I remember, like, unrelated to Final Fantasy 3, I remember before Final Fantasy X-2 got the remastered release, I used to play that international version all in Japanese. So, like, I remember that although I couldn't read anything, I just remembered what each skill did. And so, like, I remember... so if I see a Final Fantasy X-2 stream in Japanese, I will remember, you know, each skill.
Yeah.
I guess it's a similar
thing. That's nice. Yeah. So in the previous battle, the enemies actually dropped a turtle shell.
Oh, that's great, actually.
Yeah. And there they dropped an Arctic Wind. So you don't need any of those because, well, you already have Arctic Winds. I don't think we need them anymore. But, and we're gonna pick up turtle shells later, but it means you'll have to dupe one less. So there's there's always that.
Time save is time save. We don't question it.
Yep. There's an Aegis Shield, which is like arguably the best shield in the game.
Yeah.
Because it makes you immune to all status effects.
Yeah.
で、ナイトの装備、イージス、ダイナ、もうこういうのだとかなり硬くなりますね。回復してテレポかな。はい、で、これでようやく回収はしましたので、ストーリーに合流。
So that was the sunken cave. Now it's time for Temple of Time. Another underwater dungeon.
Yeah, and this one can be a bit annoying because the encounter rate here, I think, is a bit high.
Yeah, I feel like the last room is like really terrible when it comes to encounters. Also, these things can use lightning, just like that Garuda boss. You can one-shot them with this, so it's usually not a problem.
Yeah,
although
like
if you get back attacked by them, then you probably die.
Yeah, like at this point we should be faster than them, but you never know.
Yeah, speed in this game is really poorly implemented in my opinion.
Yeah,
like the way it works is that it takes your speed stat and then it multiplies it by a number between, I don't fully remember, I think it's like 1.5 and 3, like randomly between there. So that just creates this huge like overlap between different speed tiers, which means which can completely mess up your healing and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this game is just so weird for so many aspects.
Yeah, it has some really bad like game design elements in it.
And here we're using the magic key so that we bought all the way back in Gizal.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go to this secret passage where you go through the waterfalls and then into the secret room. And we're going to get a protect ring here. And I think some other items to sell.
Yeah, you get like a harp and a lance, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember if the harp is used or not.
I think it is actually. Although I'm not sure.
Yeah, I made the mistake here to not write down which harp it is, so I'm a bit unsure, but...
Yeah. I think it's the Madura harp, which means we're not gonna use it actually. But I'm not fully sure. Anyways, the protect ring is here, which is the really important thing. Oh, you know why that equipment is really good, right?
You catch me unprepared. But I think it's because of defense and no, is it speed as well? Maybe.
Yeah, all of those. So every job can equip it, and it halves all elemental damage, which is really useful, and it raises all stats by 2, which includes speed. So it's just really good, and you can only get 2 in the game normally. We're gonna get both because they give you so much defense and speed. They're arguably the best like handpiece equipment you can get in the game.
守りの指輪はカットしてます。
ああ、確かにね。まあ、今回はこう一発勝負ってところでね、ある程度回収してるアイテムとかもあります。
守りの指輪はまあでも先ほどねおっしゃったように、
Although because of the amount of encounters you get picking it up, I think I've seen some runners skip it actually.
Yeah, yeah, it is possible. Like, I don't know if it's just better to get it and then risk getting all of these encounters. Like, it's still a very useful piece of equipment, so...
Yeah, it's just so good. Like, there's a reason why it's so well hidden.
Yep.
まあ、ここが、最終フロア前なので、次のフロアがノアの竜頭が置かれている部屋となります。
So this giant dog creature, it's called the Behemoth. It has like 11,000 HP or something like that, which is more than the previous boss. And it can cast Meteor, I think. So, actually, I don't remember. There's another Behemoth you can fight later on, and that one definitely uses Meteor. And also that dragon right there, it's another like mini boss. It's similar. It also has like more than 10,000 HP. So, if you're playing this casually and try to just kill all of the enemies you spot, you're gonna have a tough time against those encounters because they hit really hard and they have so much HP. They're almost bosses pretty much.
Yeah.
I can look up if it has if it can use Meteor or not.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because there's some weird things
yeah,
when it comes
like maybe
to enemy skills.
Yeah, it can use Meteor, so which is just ridiculous. So it does that if it gets low on health.
Yeah, like at this point in the game, a meteor, like even casually, it's going to kill you basically.
Yeah, it's the highest tier of magic. Compared to some other games in the franchise, it's not like that powerful actually. It's like nerfed because it hits all opponents, but it's nothing to scoff at either if an enemy uses it against you.
Yeah, I mean even later on in the Crystal Tower, even Sunday can use it, and even there, even if we will be like more than 10 levels above where we are right now, even then we need to be careful. We need to hope that we don't see it because it's still going to kill us.
Yeah, I think there's like 3 of the bosses and also some of the mini bosses that can use Meteor, and it's just horrible if they do it. It's very rare, but it can happen.
本来これ最終ダンジョン行くために4つ牙あって、そのなんか4つの古代像みたいなやつがぶっ壊して。
So there we go, 2 out of 5 dungeons complete before the next boss. For one of the more annoying dungeons, I would say.
Yeah.
There's just so much walking and running away from the enemies. They give really little experience. And we also have this old lady who uses haste on us a lot of the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Une does that.
If we could somehow get past these rocks without her, we could skip the previous dungeon. Although, then we wouldn't get the Protect Ring, but doing this could actually help us a lot. We've tried a lot, but there really doesn't seem a way to get past those boulders. So, as a fun fact, you can actually beat the game with Unai still in your party. She leaves you at the end of this dungeon when you find the next ship. Because of glitches, you can finish the game without getting this ship, so if you do that, you can keep her in your party, which is not super helpful in battles, but
it
could be useful for like, yeah, she will like appear in the cutscenes. Like, she's not supposed to be in the cutscenes, and because you're not supposed to have someone following you, they didn't like bother to prevent them from just standing in the middle of the cutscenes, and it's really funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are some like videos out there.
Yeah, maybe. Magic Master in the chat can confirm it, like it's hilarious. Like later we'll fight her and Doga, the other guy who were with us earlier, and if Unai is still in your party, there will be two of her basically, and it looks hilarious. It is so silly. And you can also have her like be the one to finish off the boss fight against herself, which is yeah, that's a thing that can happen. And also to have her walking around in the world of darkness and see her in the like the background of the cutscenes. It's like it's basically a straight up comedy. Like she doesn't belong there at all, but she just stands there in the background. Maybe that's the future of speedrunning this game. Have her follow you.
Maybe we can just skip everything, skip the grind.
Oh, that would be so nice. Maybe I'll work on my RNG theory later. Maybe not today, because it's like it's 11 in the night.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow I'll have the motivation.
There's time.
There's always time in speedrunning.
It's kind of unfortunate that speedrunning takes so much time. Like,
yeah.
I always found it kind of funny. Like, you need to put a lot of time into speedruns to actually make them short.
Yeah. Then people who don't understand anything, they get like mad because they only see you play the game for like a very little amount of time. But in reality, you've put hours and hours into the game and run. Like, it's a lot of work. Like, I've routed this game like for years now, from scratch and with other people, and it is a lot of work. Like, countless hours. A new category, Unai %. That would be fantastic. Because also, if you do that, like this cutscene here, it plays the first time you reach this ship, and in the cutscene that appears after you beat the final boss, you enter this ship, and because you enter this ship, this cutscene will interrupt the ending cutscene of the game. So that's like, you won't reach the credits actually. You beat the boss, you get some cutscene, and then this cutscene starts playing, and then you just pick up from right here. And also all the music disappears when you regain control of your character. It is so bizarre and it's so funny. And then you can just keep playing as if nothing happened.
I might just do that one day just to have that experience.
Yeah. The only downside of doing it is that you can't go to the best spot to grind without this ship. So, and you need to have Unai leave your party, of course, to get to this ship. So. But maybe that's the future of this category. Like, that would be hilarious. There's so many random things you can do in this game by glitching, like going out of bounds, walking on water, walking on air, teleporting with your airship, and like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Is this like the glitchiest version, maybe, of the remake?
Of the remake, then yeah, or is it? I know on the DS version you can clip out of bounds in Kazu's, like the second town you enter, because of the ghost, and that doesn't work on this version. But this version is like sturdier when it comes to glitches. It doesn't crash quite as easy. But yeah, I think this is a little bit more glitchier than the DS version.
Yeah. There's also like I think a very weird story reset glitch. I've never seen it happen myself, but I can't remember like how it triggers. Is it when you get Arya in the party, I believe?
No, it could happen like at any point of the game. And there's really nothing you can do to prevent it. We have no idea what causes it. We only know that it will happen, it will trigger after a battle. There's nothing special about the battles in which it happens in. But sometimes after a battle, you open your menu and you see that you cannot access your jobs. And if you see that, then you know the glitch has triggered. I think it has been mostly patched, but I can't say that like 100% certain. It may still happen. And it's crazy, like everything in the story just resets, which means you lose access to your ships, which means you often just straight up get soft locked, or if you don't get soft locked, then you need to redo everything in the story, which means going back to the Jin and beating him, and it's terrible. But it's been a long time since I've seen anyone get that.
Yeah, like at least with all the runs that I have seen and the ones that I've done, I've never seen it, so probably it has been patched, or again, mostly.
Yeah, so now we're at the big grind, which will take a long time. Gonna pick up some items, reorganize this inventory, and do things. You want to be quick in this room because the enemies here can use magic, and your whole strat is to get your party at critical health, and then have the knight automatically guard them. And then you turn them into toads to skip animations, make it all even faster. So there is another area that gives slightly more experience, but the enemies, a lot of them are immune to Quake. So we found out that grinding here is much, much faster because everything is vulnerable to Quake. So we're gonna spend a lot of time in here.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 25 minutes.
Yeah. So I remember one time on the DS version, I managed to like get a version where I could basically walk through walls. Like I could use cheats basically. It was like action replay or something like that. And it was insane how weird this game was when you could walk through walls. So you could talk to NPCs you were not supposed to talk to, and the text box would just be like, not finished. And then the character would just disappear. It was like, the fact that that's in the game is so funny. And it's completely inaccessible normally. just knowing that if you can somehow get around some triggers out of bounds and talk to them, but they just say not finished and then disappear.
そうですね。
ネタを探したんですが、なんと昨日ね、ちょうど
It would be really funny to see like a category where you can turn on no clip and just walk out of bounds all the time. You could skip more than half the game probably.
Yeah. Not finished percent.
Yes. Also, I think, so very minor spoiler, but we fight the final boss twice in the story, and the first time it is impossible to win. There's no in-game way of being able to beat the boss, because it will one-shot you as soon as it attacks you, and all attacks against it will deal like 0 damage, with very few exceptions. But I've heard that if you activate a cheat to one-shot the enemy, and you kill the final boss on the first time you encounter her, the credits will actually trigger, so it counts as beating the game, which would save like half an hour or like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's like
so if someone
none
finds
of the
like
final bosses.
yeah, so if someone finds like a glitch to do that, that would be insane.
Maybe we need to work on that.
Yeah, I have very high hopes it's somehow possible to one-shot the impossible final boss. Like there are some attacks that, like she is like set to have like max defense, so your attacks deal nothing. Some attacks like the ninja's throw bypasses this altogether, but since she has 120,000 HP, you're not able to deal enough damage in one turn. I think you can deal like what is it? Like close to 100,000 damage with fully powered ninjas. But it just barely falls short.
確か YouTube に動画あるんで、上にの公式チャンネルから多分探したらね、悠久の風のなんかアレンジしたのを上松信夫さんが審査するっていうのを全部やってて。
Yeah, and I think that, like, unfortunately, grinding doesn't even help with that. Because shurikens, I think they are like a fixed damage.
Yeah, they're based off your job level, mostly. Then, like, some multiplied by some random number.
But getting job levels would be, like...
Yeah, very slow for a speedrun.
Yeah.
Like, I think we barely reached like level 20 with one of our red mages that we keep like throughout the entire playthrough almost in these speedruns, so... And the max job level is 99, so we're not even close.
Yeah. I wonder, like, who has got this great idea of making one of the achievements for this version to take all of your characters on all of their jobs to level 99.
Yeah,
like,
thank you whoever
who is the
made that
mastermind behind this? Because
there are 24 jobs and 4 characters. And to get job level 99 with all jobs, all characters, like, why would you do that? That's like horrible. It takes so long to do, even with like doing it the fastest way possible. It's just so poorly designed, honestly.
Yeah.
Also, another reason why we don't use physical attacks is that there's a hidden stat for your arms, which decide how much damage you deal. It's called like melee proficiency, and it ranges from level 1 to 99. And you have it for both your arms on every character, and every time you attack 33 times, it levels up by 1. It's like, imagine that 33 times to attack, just for it to level up once. So to get to level 100, that's, yeah, just gotta attack 3,300 times, no problem. So that's another reason why we don't use physical attacks, because, like, why would you bother?
There are some design choices here that are very questionable, to say the least.
Yeah. The job levels, up till level 14, job level 14 I think, it takes only 5 actions per job level, but after that it depends on the job. Most jobs takes like an average 8, 7 actions before you level up, while some of the worst ones takes 10. 10 actions per job level, it's just ridiculous. It's honestly a complete waste of time. Luckily auto battle exists, which speeds it up, but even then it takes so long time to do.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll see someone do a speedrun of the all bosses category, which doesn't exist yet, of this game, where you beat all bosses, including the super boss Iron Giant.
That would actually be very interesting.
Yeah,
But
I have made a general route for it, and it does include job level grinding several characters to level 99.
But will you undertake this ordeal?
I don't know. It would take a lot to do. Like, you also need to reach like level 60 or something to get enough HP. And I think I timed, or I estimated how long the grind will take. And the grind is, again, it's in a single encounter where you force one of the enemies to summon more enemies. I think it would take more than an hour. A single battle would take more than an hour of grinding. But it would be fun to do. I think it should take like 15 hours maybe less if we route it really well.
I mean,
it would absolutely be fun to see someone actually complete that.
Yeah.
担当したんですけど、僕、日本人で最後の奏者だったんですけど、日本人枠。めっちゃ緊張して、で、まあ、スタートがね、そのプアサイスさんのチームチョコボが、一番最初に回ってきて、そっから。
So there are like a couple of side quests in this game that we won't see in the any percent route, but in such a run we would see them, because there's like a master smith where you can unlock the ultimate weapon, which is an absurdly OP sword. It raises all stats by 15, I think. Something ridiculous by that, like that. And then if you have a character reach job level 99, you can unlock their master weapon, which is like a weapon or armor, which we probably also would get for some of the characters.
22分の差が埋まってラスボスで全員暗闇の雲を並ぶというそうそうラスボスあれ並んでたんですよ暗闇の雲17作品目のリレーでだいたい70時間やってですよ、ね、暗闇の雲で並ぶっていうすごい光景になって最終的にはねソルさんがトップ通過したのかなそうですね2位と42秒差で僕が1位で抜けたんですけど、結果は確かチームチョコボが最後勝ったんですけど、日本人枠がね結構今年は
Sorry, that was
So do you know?
Sorry, like did we explain like what's going on in the background? Or
like what do you mean?
Like what Soul is doing here?
Oh yeah, no, not really. Go ahead.
So basically, we've created this party with the Luneth as knight, and then Luneth, Ark, and Revia as knights, and then Ingus as a scholar. And all of them are toads except for Luneth, because Luneth needs to like protect the other characters. And also, we are like duping items during the battle. Specifically, we are duplicating white masks, which we have picked up in this area. And we are duplicating white masks with Luneth, Ark, and Revia, while we are using earthen drums with Ingus. And we are using earthen drums with Ingus because he's like being a scholar, he can one-shot all of the enemies here. And with the equipment that he has, he should be able to act on the first turn, so that the other characters will not use the white masks that they are duplicating. And like we want it to be this way because we want to duplicate as many white masks as possible without using them, because using them is just a time loss, really. And what else? We will usually also get the turtle shell here, but we already got it. I mean, Sol already got it from that random encounter earlier, so. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. So we actually get like more than 100 more white masks, right?
Oh yeah, because of the like the items can overflow, so like they can go over the 99, but they only go over the number 99 if the characters don't use them in battle. So that's also why we want Ingus to be as fast as possible and use the earthen drums on the first turn. But I think like it's not too much of an issue anymore because of the manipulations that we've done earlier. Like I think we've got enough like duplicates of the Antarctic winds, earthen drums, and also the chocobo rats to sell alongside the white masks. So I think we don't necessarily need more than 100 white masks anymore, but it is still good to have more than 100.
Yeah, because you really want as much money as possible.
Yeah, because we're going to go to this secret shop in Eureka later to buy like basically some of the strongest equipment in the game, and then buy shurikens with the remaining amount of money that we have.
Yeah. So, normally, you're not supposed to be able to get more than 99 of any item. But with item duping, you can get more. But it's very volatile and unstable in a way. Like, if the game detects any more updates to the items, it will like immediately snap back to 99.
Yeah.
And also, if you get 256 of an item, you lose all of them because of the overflow. But that's not an issue here at all.
Yeah, we're never going to get that many.
No.
で、レベル上げ終わった後、ちょっとね、私先走ってしまいましたが、ノーチラスだいぶグリッチ。
Also in like the early days of the Dupe, it was like many people said that it could corrupt your save file or something like that. That would have been really cool to be able to do, but we speedrunners tried to manipulate it and change it as much as we could, but nothing happened. So it doesn't mess with your save file at all, duping, so it's completely safe.
回復魔法の効果および魔法防御。
And now we're actually finally done with the grind as well.
Yeah, so now we're going to switch all of the characters to scholars. Because... Hang on, my brain stopped working. So we're going to put them all in the scholar job. Because we are going to use items once again to fight the next boss, and we're going to use the white masks actually. So we're going to sell all of the white masks except for 4 of them, because 4 of them are enough to kill this boss. And yeah, we're going to use the 4 white masks to kill it. And now we're going to get the Nautilus.
Oh yeah,
And
finally.
we are going to use another very fun glitch.
Yeah, of the old school glitches that we're not quite sure who was the original person to find it.
Yeah. So here basically Sol is going to get into this position right here in the world map. And as he will dive down, he will dive into an out-of-bounds area that we're not supposed to be in, clearly. But we are going to navigate to this area and then reach another spot, and then we will go back to the surface. And we're actually going to find ourselves inside the mountain area, which is still out of bounds, and we will need to navigate that mountain area in like a very specific way so that we don't get inbounds, because if we get inbounds, then we need to reset and we need to try the glitch again.
Yep. So we really don't have to do this, because we can go there with the other ship, but hey, it's faster, so
yeah,
that's what we're gonna do. So here in the darkness, there are like certain spots where you can't get encounters, but they're very sparse and awkward to hit, and it's obviously impossible to tell exactly where they are. They do exist. Okay, here we go. He's probably gonna save here again. Okay, not yet. Gotta be really careful here.
a random encounter.
Oh wow, that's rare.
Yeah, now he needs to like get in a position where he's like half out of bounds, half in bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he can reach the ship from in bounds, and the ship is out of bounds, so...
Yeah. And now in this dungeon we're just going to pick up like just a couple chests. Yeah, there's not much else going on here.
Yeah, it's a really cool cave. It's a dark spots and really good music as well.
Yeah.
Also worth pointing out is that he's able to instantly run away from encounters now. I don't think we explained how running away works, but it's like if everyone in your party is at a higher level than the highest leveled enemy, then you will instantly run away on your first attempt. But if you're not, then you'll never be able to run away on the first attempt, and then on attempt 2, 3, 4, and 5, the chances will just get higher and higher. So on your fourth attempt, you have in total a chance of 94.4% chance of being able to run away on any of those attempts. So if you're really unlucky, then you're not able to run away on any of those attempts, and you'll have to spend another turn to input run away. But
yeah,
I don't think that has happened so far in this run, so at least that's something that's gone right.
Yeah.
Also, when you reach higher levels, the encounter rate goes down, so he's getting very few encounters here after this long grind. So there he picks up the Genji Shield, which is the only shield the ninja can equip, and it's the only one in the game. Or actually, the ninja can also equip the weakest shield in the game too, but it's so weak that it really doesn't help at all. Oh, look at that, the entire stretch without encounters, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Now we're finally at the end of this 5th dungeon, before we finally reach a boss again. Took some time, but we're here. And yeah.
And this is just very easy to get through. Oh, here's using the Chocobo Rats actually. He doesn't even use the white masks anymore.
Yeah, I think that was the old strat, because we didn't used to have the Chocobo's Wrath by this point before.
Yeah.
But
Right,
yeah,
because we used to get it from the what is it, Doga's Grotto,
yeah,
which we're going to get to.
Dungeon.
Yeah. But it's just a very easy boss. Just use the 4 of those items. He's dead.
Yeah, so we're there's 4 bosses now. This one was the first of the 4 that we fight in very quick succession, at least by the standard of this game, and they all die in one turn, so spoilers. Got an encounter here as well. That's annoying.
Yeah. It's so unlucky to get these encounters when you're flying with the Nautilus.
Yeah, because there's only small stretches of land where you can actually get encounters in the airships. So I think you can make it through all of these rooms without encounters, but it's really rare. So you're expected to get at least one on all of these spirals.
Yeah, that's the norm, I would say.
最初の方に言ってた手裏剣がね、最後買いたいんだけど、65,500とかで高いので、それの軍資金みたいな感じですね。ちなみにこの洞窟にチョコボの怒りが手に入る宝箱がありまして、まともに行くのであればここでようやく普通に取れるという感じですね。ここは特に 迷路地ではない、割と一本道、ちょっと寄り道で宝箱があるぐらいのダンジョンなので、それほど迷うことはないっていうところで。
So now in this room that he's entering now, the chest on the top right corner, that's the one that contains the Chocobo's wrath. So this is when we used to get that item before we found the RNG minute for it.
Yeah.
So we get it like an hour and a half before we're normally able to get it. Yeah, it's so good.
Thanks, Soul, for that.
Yeah. Oh wow, he looked away there, and because of that his movement became worse, and he probably could have skipped this encounter otherwise, but it doesn't matter. Here we got this cutscene, well, very soon. Doga and Unai. And if Unai had been in our party, she would have been right behind these 4 characters of ours. Just standing there.
Like, oh, we're fighting her, but she's also fighting with us.
Yeah. And here, once again, we have a man turn into some weird creature for no apparent reason.
Yep, he's just like, hey, fight me. And then he turns into this.
It's like, why would he turn into this? Why would he want to do that?
I wish I had the answer.
Like, no, I don't know. At least Unai looks more like human-like, but like it's not like she looks pretty or anything. But I mean, sure. And now he's dead. Okay. So we're using scholars because they have item lore automatically, so their items use double damage, and we can dupe items, so... Oh. Almost had someone die here actually, but we 3-shot these 2, so it's no big deal.
Like, these are other bosses that are typically like really easy to get through, but sometimes they will kill like one of your party members for no reason.
Yeah. So Doga is like the only boss you fight where you do not get healed right after beating him, which is interesting. But it's because you fight Unai right after. That's like a cool exception.
I think that like the story reason that they fight against you is because like they want to know if you are powerful enough to like go against a Zande or something like that.
I think it's like they give us the key to Eureka, or likely at least one of the keys, and they need like their blessings or something for them to work. I think it's something like that. So now we're gonna see the Nautilus dive glitch. Not for the last time actually. Almost the last time. We're gonna enter the Ancient's Maze, which is this pretty long maze. It's not really much of a maze really, it's very linear, but it takes a long time to go through. And we're gonna... The boss is actually at the very beginning, which is cool. So we're just gonna go to the very beginning, then we're gonna exit and just go out of bounds to the very end, which is really cool. And the skill we use, the item that we've duped, is the Chocobo's Wrath, which casts Flare, which is the strongest spell in the game. So, strongest spell in the game with double power and infinite uses. It's basically the entire strat of FF3.
Yeah.
This is the last crystal. And we'll get the last set of jobs when we defeat this guy. But as it turns out, this boss is actually optional. Like, you don't need to beat this guy. You don't need to be blessed by the 4th and last crystal to beat the game.
I actually wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, it's really surprising actually. We didn't know that for a long time. It was just always assumed you had to beat him. The reason you have to beat him is that you can't access Eureka if you don't go here. So that's the reason why we do it in the run. And before we've done it to get the last jobs. No, wait, yeah, we do that here too. We need the ninja, right? I think we skip it on the DS version actually, because we don't go to Eureka and we don't need any of the last bosses. Or, I mean, any of the last jobs. Here's the final dive of the run.
This is probably like the most difficult one as well.
Yeah,
you kind of need to time when you have to go back to the surface.
Yeah, you don't have any visual cues, and then you very often get an encounter like right before you're supposed to emerge, so it throws off your timer. Like, as you can see, it's just complete blackness.
But
yeah,
Soul
like
nailed it.
Yeah, I don't think he saved even. He's so confident. So in this specific room, you have a 1% chance of finding the King Behemoth, which is, it's basically as strong as the next boss. And it can also drop the Protect Ring. It has like a decent chance of dropping the Protect Ring. Speaking of Protect Ring, we get one right there as well. That was the item that halves all elemental damage and boosts all your stats, so it's really nice. If you were to encounter that enemy in that room, you would just run away, because he's really dangerous. その他いろいろクリスタル系の装備とかね、あとアポロのハープもか。まあそういうもろもろ協力装備がありますんで。ちなみに途中にあるね、Here we have Eureka, the Forbidden Land, where pick up a lot of good gear and buy some really good things in a hidden shop at the end.
Yep. I believe there's a Puma garb, right, for the ninja.
Yep.
Then a shuriken on the way, and also a ribbon.
Yeah. The ribbon is protected by a ninja. And also the ninja counts as a boss, even though it doesn't play the boss music. And you also don't get healed after this fight. So it's like a boss that's not a boss in a weird way. That's unfortunate. Yeah, now he has one ribbon, which also gives complete immunity to all status ailments, which is really, really good. And he has 2 Aegis Shields from before. One he got from Sunken Cave, and one he got from Lake Door, where he grinded. And those also give immunity to all status ailments. So if he gets another ribbon later on, then he can give each of his party members one of these items each, and he'll have full protection from all status, which is pretty much required against the final boss, because it uses bad breath against you.
Yeah.
And if that hits you, that's just terrible.
Yeah, like the fight is already pretty difficult. We don't want any extra difficulty.
Yeah. Also here you can see him just walk straight past like weapons. There are like super weapons in here that are really good, or they're supposed to be really good. That first one he just passed is like really weak. The attack it has is 110, which is the same as a knife you can find earlier, except this item doesn't raise any stats for some reason, so it's just an okay weapon. Although most of the other weapons are pretty decent. It's just that one which is really underwhelming for some reason. And also each of the weapons, or most of them, they're guarded by bosses. So this is a pretty fun place to get casually. You just fight boss after boss and get really good weapons. Like you get the Excalibur and Ragnarok in here. And the Masamune, I believe, are really cool and recurring weapons in this series. But we won't need any of those, so we just go straight to the end, to the hidden shops.
Yeah, he also got no encounters on the last screen, which is nice.
Yeah, very nice. Also 2 free shurikens here. And elixirs, 2 elixirs as well. So those 2, they sell you... One sells the strongest black and white magic spells, and the other sells his 3 strongest summon spells. And this guy sells crystal gear and a very good harp for the bard, and shurikens. Although the shurikens are absurdly expensive. So we can just buy a few even after we've sold like 100 white musks.
Yeah. But that's exactly why we want like as many white musks as possible. Because they sell for very good gil.
Well, not very good, but
well,
decent.
Yeah.
Like on the Japanese version of the DS version, there existed magic duplication. And with that, you could get money, I think about, I think I calculated it to be 40 times as fast as the best item duplication. So, white musks, yeah, they give okay money, but magic duplication gave insane money, like 40 times as fast. Unfortunately, that's exclusive to the Japanese DS version. But the item duplication glitch is still here, the one we all love and know.
At least, like, I assume that the white musk, like, sells like for the highest amount of gil out of all the items that we can get.
Yeah, I think so. Or that and Chocobo's Wrath. I think they sell for the same, but I'm not entirely sure. Probably does. Those enemies right there, they used to be the bane of the very early DS runs. Because if you got back attacked by them, they each can cast the Aga spell, so Saga, Thandaga, and Firaga. And back attacks from them could just wipe your party. And on DS version, that was just pretty much a reset. Unlike here, where you can just continue from where you died. That was not the case back then.
Yeah, we have it a bit easier, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, a lot.
Yeah. Also, when after a party member has attempted to run away but were unsuccessful, their defense is halved for the rest of the turn. Which is, I think that's such a dumb mechanic. Like you try to run away and then you just die. Like, why would they put that in the game? Why couldn't they just leave us be?
I think that's the question that we could ask about quite a few things.
Yeah. Like, this is like the final dungeon. And in casual play, it can take you like 1.5 hours to reach the final boss. Like, even more if you loot this area. And if you loot this area and then you accidentally go to the next boss, that's a point of no return. So you can't go back to save. Like, you can't save at all. And if you die, well, too bad. Gotta do everything again and hope you actually win this time.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people have simply not finished this game when they had it on the DS because of that.
Yeah, like I can imagine.
It's just completely unforgiving. So yeah, the reason why PC version is faster is mostly auto battle, which speeds up every single fight you have. And also the load times are much better than the DS version. And PSP load times were horribly slow actually. So yeah, PC version is just very polished. Like auto battle actually, like, it speeds up all animations as well. It doesn't just automatically select your options in battle, but it speeds up everything as well.
I believe that's also like something that they kept for the Pixel remasters, right?
Oh,
like
they kept
auto battle, yeah. Auto battle, I think it uses the same stuff that you've used in the previous turn, and also it speeds up the animations.
Yeah, that's really nice. So the PC version actually, it didn't always have auto battle, it was patched in, and that also allowed the item dupe to return.
Also, this yellow dragon here.
Yeah, rare encounter. This is the third last room where you can get encounters in the tower. So here you can find the yellow dragon. In the next room you can find the green dragon. And in the final room you can find red dragon. And if you get back attacked by one, they just wipe your party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those dragons, they can drop the elusive onion gear, which is the best piece of equipment in the entire game that can only be equipped on the hidden job Onion Knight. Although Onion Knights, you can get them, you could have gotten them in the run if you wanted to, but they are actually horribly weak. They are, I would argue that they are the weakest job in the entire game until level 95. Before that, they are terrible.
Yeah, like at that point, with 95, or again, whatever the level is, at that point, their stats just skyrocket.
Yeah, it's insane. But before that, their stats are atrociously bad.
Yeah.
And because some of those stats affect HP growth, if you use an Onion Knight casually, it will, like, their HP growth is even worse than Scholars. And Scholars have terrible HP growth, but Onion Knights, they have horribly bad. So they're just hands down the worst job in the entire game for like level 95. Like, when are you ever gonna be playing this game at level 95? Like, that takes a long time. So that job is completely useless until you're level 95. And by that point, you're basically a god in the game. Nothing can touch you pretty much. So, yeah. They're just bad.
Yeah, I mean, against the Iron Giant, could be useful.
Yeah.
Still takes quite some time to get to that level, but
Yeah, and the Iron Giant can be fought at a much lower level with another party setup. So that party setup is like a Bard, Viking, Ninja, and a healer, usually Devout.
死んだはずですよね。
死んだはずでは
あれおかしいな。
応援の方ですよ。これは
まさか
And with like that party setup, you can beat the Iron Giant at like level 60.
死んでしまったはずが、え
アイルビーバックぐらい。アイルビーバックしちゃった。
戻ってきた。
So here we see an animation error. She's supposed to climb up the ledge there, but it just doesn't happen.
未来から、古代じゃない、今度は未来から。
Also, what's really interesting, yeah, about that is that it only happens in speedruns. If you watch someone play this casually, the animations work as intended. And here too, that guy is T-posting. It only happens in speedruns, and no one really knows why, but it's really funny.
水のクリスタルを復活したエリアが
T-pose. We're gonna see more T-pose at the end of the run, like in the credits. Or no, oh right. Soon enough, it's pretty funny.
最後に持ってきてますから。ちょっとアルス王子と順番は前後してるものの、あれこの村は
見たことある街。
なんか水の町、アムル。あれ
まさか。
まさか。
でも4人連れてきなくないですか
?4 人いるけど。
1人あれリーダーおるんかーい。
リーダーいました。しかも任しときとか急に関西っぽくなって。はい、ということで5人目はじいさんでした。
残念。
原姫指導でした。
Yeah, so that's like one of the theories I've heard, that you load the whole game without clearing it, without resetting or like leaving it be. It gets like overstressed or something. I'm not good enough with computers to understand it fully, but it makes sense. Here we have one of the last bosses and the point of no return. Sanda was like a student of this great mage, just like Doga and Unai, except this guy's evil now. We have to fight him, but luckily he doesn't turn into some disgusting creature when we fight him. Like, he actually looks like he looks here in the battle. And it's a pretty straightforward and safe fight for the most part, but it can go wrong. And he can also use Meteor.
Yeah. We just need to hope that we don't see that. Because it has happened more often than we like to admit.
Yeah. Oh, rip. So Refia was clearly not wearing the Protect Ring, otherwise she would have survived that. And Ark was not wearing the Protect Ring either. Is he gonna beat this? No, probably not.
Oh, you barely made it.
One character alive, wow. That was close. I don't think he's happy about only Inga surviving and getting all the experience. You really want everyone to gain levels, but
yeah,
it's better than losing.
Yeah, dying is still a time loss.
Yeah. So yeah, in the chat it was explained why this guy turned evil. Doga, Unai, and Sunday was like apprentices for this great wizard who died. When he died, he gave each of them gifts. Doga the gift of magic, Unai the gift of dreams. And Sunday he gave the wonderful gift of mortality. He could die. Then he got mad. And here we just saw the unwinnable fight. It's really sad. Everyone watches the heroes die. Particle Beam dealing quad 9s to everyone.
そのために、4人の、4匹の四天王っていうやつがいるので、
I actually heard stories of people who got to this point in the game and then they saw that they died. And they thought that they weren't supposed to die, so they just shut off game and rage quit and then lost all progress because of it.
Yeah, like actually, when I was playing this casually, I almost did that.
There we saw the final T-poses from our characters. 4 T-poses of light.
その辺の四天王戦も含めてお楽しみください。
So yeah, now we're gonna enter the World of Darkness and fight 4 bosses. So, which allows us to fight the final boss again. If you just go straight to the final boss without fighting all of these 4 bosses, the boss will be unwinnable like it just was, and you will die. It's a wonderful thing that they put that in the game, that you can go straight to the final boss, and if you do, you just die, lose all your progress. It was very well designed.
Once again.
で、1人、赤魔同士を入れて、クリスタル装備ですね。銅だけは白の。
And so yeah, there is an order you want to do these fights in. Usually start with the easiest one.
Yeah, which is Ahriman.
Yeah.
And it's down here, like to the
straight ahead,
bottom,
or like
right.
from right.
And then we just go like clockwise from there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
we... No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the 2-headed dragon is technically easier because he only uses physical attacks, but we save him for last because changing to a ninja causes us to get a job penalty which lasts for 10 entire battles, and so we kind of waste those during our trip to the last of the 4 bosses.
Yeah, I think we like kind of tried different orders, but this is probably the most optimal.
Yeah.
And we also got a ribbon here.
Yeah. Final
after
one
fighting after fighting the Sun, the clone.
I've actually died to Sunday's clones before. That's like just really depressing. It's not even a boss, it's just a mini boss.
Yeah.
そうですね、ルーンの腕輪でアーリマンの通常の攻撃が、はい、石化があるので、ここだけ耐性では取らないとって感じです。その分ちょっと物理防御、砲防御が落ちちゃうので、ちょっと危ないって感じですね。
Once again, if Unai was in our party, she would appear in this cutscene, just standing right behind us.
Yeah, like, don't mind me.
As a fun fact, these crystals are like just barely transparent. You can see through them. So it's like just barely. I also think it's the same thing with the characters that appear afterwards. They are actually transparent as well, just barely. But yeah, this guy is relatively easy. Doesn't have a lot he can threaten you with. So can he use Meteor? or I don't remember if he could do that or not.
I don't
Wow.
remember. It might be Echidna.
Yeah,
Oh, what
Echidna
happened?
can do it for sure. Ingus got Thunder God and hit in the first turn.
Oh no.
So the red mage, because he's a tanky mage, he can usually withstand hits pretty well. So he does not have a protect ring. And after he gets a turtle shell applied, he is like, he won't die. But single targeted spell on the first turn and hit afterwards, that's enough to kill him at the beginning. But actually, I don't think he's gonna use turtle shells actually, because this guy is not strong enough, usually.
Yeah.
It's rare for him to kill anyone, so...
Yeah, usually the turtle shells are used in the Cerberus fight, and then for the two-headed dragon and the Cloud of Darkness, obviously.
Yeah. So as you can see, the Kuraga is not nearly healing their full amount of HP that they have. So that can be problematic later on. But hopefully it will be fine.
Yeah, it's most likely because of the missing experience from Xande.
Yeah, that's also true. So Red Mage is, yeah, it's relatively slow for being a mage, although a lot of the mages are slow. But he can be made extra slow by giving him heavy equipment, which actually slows you down in this game. But whether or not he is faster or slower than the enemies, sometimes it can be consistent, but other times it's just completely random almost. So you just gotta hope for the best. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a glass of water real quick. I'll be right back.
これも同じように3人目だけ RTA ちゃんだけはね、体勢取れてないので、そのあたりにちょっとトルネードとかデスとかが入ってきて、ちょっと崩壊の始まりにならなければいいなっていうところですかね。
そうですね、デスでワンピックされちゃうと、
はい。
序盤にね、やられちゃうとちょっと大変なことになるので。
はい。そうですね。あとは、20パー以下でメテを引いてくるんですね、こいつ。リハで見ましたけど。
そうですね。初めて、1年半ぐらいやって初めてこの間メテを引きましたね、激怒の。アジンさんとリハーサルやってる時に。
そうですね。まさかの初を引いてしまった。
Okay, so time for Echidna. Another boss that is usually relatively risk-free, but this one can use Meteor. She can also, you can be unlucky and have her, can cast Death and Tornado, which can screw you over.
Yeah. I think
what is he
Soul is
duping?
What is it? The
turtle shells?
Shells? Yeah.
Yeah. They cast it on Refia, probably because she is the one without the protect ring, I'm guessing.
どんだけこのチョコボの怒りが当てられるかっていうところ。
Can Echidna also like petrify you, or is it the Ahriman? Or both?
Yeah, that's Ahriman.
The Ahriman. Okay.
ああ、取り抜きましたね。うん。これは外しました。
So everyone here is immune to tornado and death, except for one of them, whoever does not have a ribbon, and not Ingus the red mage, because he has the shield, but I don't know who that is.
で、大体最低10ターンからまあ熟練度等によって10、あーっていくつか。
Okay, it's Refia. So she does not have the ribbon, and she does not have the protect ring.
ケアルダ切れて今ケアルダの回復になっているので。
Right, that went fairly smoothly.
Yeah, was very nice.
ということで、四天王
And now for Cerberus.
Yeah, the worst of these enemies.
Yeah.
ちらっと言ったお祈りボスのトップ3。
I think he will go for like 2 scholars, a knight, and red mage.
でケルベロスはなんとね、その頭3つあって
Yeah,
3回
looks like you're right.
で、3人目 RTA ちゃんを
Yeah, 'cause there are like a couple different strats for Cerberus.
Yeah, like usually 2 scholars, but then and a red mage, but the fourth one could be either another red mage or another scholar or a bard or even a ninja. So
はい。ちょっとそこの体勢というか、一番最初の
Yeah, so like
Cerber
here,
wipe.
yeah, we're going to like use the knight, so that if the others fall into the yellow HP, they will protect the other characters. Although with Cerberus it can be a gamble, because if I'm not wrong, he can also cast pretty powerful magic.
Yeah,
And
the Yaga
that
spells.
bypasses the guard.
Yeah, and obviously Cerberus can attack 3 times per turn, which is really dangerous. It's like the main reason why he's so horrible.
Yes.
So hopefully they can get the turtle shells on everyone the 2 first turns of the fight without Cerberus like targeting one of the characters. Really want the damage to be spread out evenly. So these 2 first turns will be really crucial.
4人目が回復役ということでみんな辛い飯を食べて元気に回復する。そう、この700何歩とかね。
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, it's like perfect. Yeah, he has full health as well.
That's good.
殴られるとまずいですね、これ。
そう、瀕死になってないけど、こう削られる
Really nice.
HP が嫌なんですよね。
Now this fight will be much less risk-free, although he can still kill party members. And if he first kills one, it's gonna be harder to... It's hard to recover from that in this game. Look at that, he deals 10 damage to the knight.
Yeah, like ideally we want to see it attack mostly the knight, or either like attack 3 different characters with physical attacks, or at least you know, not concentrate on one character, because most likely they are going to die if only one character gets all the attacks.
Yeah, the scholars, they are especially squishy against physical attacks. they
Yeah.
can take the spells decently well because of the protect rings.
あ、そうですね。あ、クリティカル。まずい。
そう、クリティカル入るとこうなる。
Like that,
あ、ブリーズが全体。
crit dealt 1000 damage to Arc. So if he had gotten hit just once more, he could have died just like that.
まあ、とはいえね、一人がナイトになってる分のダメージソース低下も
Yeah, likely that didn't happen, but
危ない。
今のは
Oof, scary.
very close.
同じく
Yeah, because the red mage can't fully heal them either sometimes.
でまあ、2人分プラス余裕がある場合は、まあ、
That was a nice heal.
チョコボの怒り入れたりはします。
Yeah.
いい感じの分散。
Oh, that was
これが続いてくれる
a nice Cerberus.
Yeah, super clean.
レベルズでした。
レベロス。
Yeah, this fight can just go so terribly wrong. So seeing something like this is amazing.
さあ、これを倒したらまたちょっとね、
I think in the Final Fantasy like Mega Race, I don't remember what it's called, but I think we saw several deaths to Cerberus there. It's just a massacre.
Like the relay, you mean?
Yeah, the relay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't catch much of it, but I
4人目、カレー飯をナイトにします。これちょっとまあ、ナイト
I can imagine.
問題があるんですけど、まあ、これは単純にコマンド入力の
It did make the race close though, so
やりやすいというか、
it was fine. It was acceptable.
学者が起こす行動は基本的に同じ。
Yeah, I managed to catch the cloud of darkness. So I saw everyone was like fairly close.
Yeah, because like they kept dying, so everyone caught up to each other. That was insane. But we hope to see none of that now.
Yeah.
Cloud of Darkness is just so ridiculous. There are so many things that can go wrong. Look at
Also,
that.
yeah, random encounters just
Random
killing.
encounter. Just one shots them.
それが終わる。
10回戦闘して消えるので。
Also, there's this change for Luneth into Ninja and the Refiabec to Scholar because of the two-headed dragon. And also because Luneth needs to lose that that debuff that he gets from changing jobs. I think if you change it like too late, he was probably going to take a long time to remove that debuff.
Yeah, because it takes 10 battles. And like 10 battles in this game can take like easily 15 minutes.
Yeah.
瀕死状態、しかも特殊な行動、魔法系の行動をやってこないので、瀕死状態の仲間さえ作ってしまえば。
So he's also gonna try to get everyone to critical HP on his way here. Because the next boss can only use physical attacks. That would be very ideal with the knight.
Yeah. Sometimes actually, Soul just kills the characters on purpose.
Yeah, it's really safe to do against these enemies actually, because they also only have physical attacks. So yeah, that's what he's doing it with a ninja here.
これで物理攻撃しかしてこないので、それで。
なるほど、それもあるのか。そういうことですね。
ツーヘッドはね、物理攻撃だけなので、これでもう無限にカバー。
He may probably just enter the fight, even with one of them not at critical health, because he can always just use the Phoenix down if they die.
Oh,
if he's really lucky,
another encounter just before the
really
teleport.
Lucky, yeah. Okay, yeah, he can just do it now actually, so it sort of worked out.
これでちょうど。はい。で、クリスタルルームに入りまして、最後の何もかも消えてしまえーって、ちょっと可愛い感じになってますけど。からのファファファしね
え。Yeah, this boss is like very trivial when you have this party setup. Just in general, with the knight and everyone else at critical health. Just get the knight under protect and then you are very safe.
Yeah. And you can just spam the chocobo ras with the other 3 characters while you're casting elixirs on the knight.
Yep.
And that's just the whole battle, basically.
エウレカで手裏剣5個変えたので、1個ここで投げることができます。
あ、なるほど。
お金がね、多かった分の。
そうですね。
本来だと
Wait, did he just throw a shuriken?
ダメージ入らないのよ。
ああ、なるほど。そこの
手裏剣で、はい。
手裏剣でかなり
He might have.
余計に削ること
Yeah, he did. I was wondering if he did that, but I thought I just saw wrong, but yeah, he clearly did.
I suppose that like he counts more or less how many shurikens he uses during the Cloud of Darkness fight, so if he has like an extra one or something, he uses it here.
Yeah, probably.
さっきから学者が9999ってダメージ出してるんですけど、実はこのゲーム1万以上
Hopefully he won't run out against Cloud of Darkness.
9999しか出ないので、
Because you can miss with the throws actually.
Yeah, that's true.
HP 計算がね、難しい。
So 1 in 20.
です。はい。
攻略本とかにも書いてあるんですよね。暗闇の雲もワンパンみたいな、できるぜみたいな。暗闇の雲も HP12 万あるんですけど。はい、ということで、ようやく四天王を全員倒して、そして最後です。ここでようやく銀融詩人。最後の最後で出てきました。で、3人目、4人目が赤赤ですね。
So now he has the final party setup.
Yeah, so Luneth stays ninja, and then he switches arc to bard, and both Reveningus to red mage. This is the last time we will change the jobs.
Yep, we used 2 healers for the fight.
Yeah, and hopefully the job debuff on Luneth will run out before we reach the boss.
Oh, back attack. Yeah, he'll be fine, because he used protect.
右の触手は防御力がすげえ高いのかな。で、左が魔法防御がすげえ高いので、それぞれちょっと物理攻撃、魔法攻撃で分けないといけないっていう特徴がありますが、そんなこともしてる暇ないので、暗闇の雲一点張りです。
うわぁ、2連続バックアタック。
バックアタック。
Another back attack. Wow.
Yeah. So it is actually technically possible to beat Cloud of Darkness without a healer, but the odds are like, I don't even know what, 1 in 10,000 probably, of successfully pulling that off. So maybe one day in the future with RNG manip. It's like the only way.
One day.
Indeed. There's the final room you can get encounters in. like one monster you can find here that can only be found here. It's not this one, but it is one of the other bosses you fought here, like a mini version of them. It's the Hydra.
破滅の弾も熟練度次第でね、マックス19%まではいくんですけど、一応最低保証が 10%。
So I believe that dog is like the only regular enemy that can attack 3 times a turn.
アポロのハープは2ターンの間、味方全員の受けるダメージ。
Just to finish off this run, we get a lot of encounters, just as a reminder.
Another one.
Like, honestly, this has been like a really good run so far.
Yeah.
Sol is just really good, honestly.
Yeah.
A year ago, this time it was like unheard of.
Yeah. Like he just came in and found these 2 manipulations, and then he just speedrun this game like so much. As I said before, like he's really dedicated.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it, final boss. Like a coin flip if you win or not.
Yeah. Like the only safe turns are like the first 2 basically, and then we just pray.
Yeah. Here she is. Can kill both of the tentacles too, but we don't do that in the run. Doesn't really do much. Killing the right one is actually useful because it can attack, and if it rarely does a physical attack, but if it does, the extra damage it does can really screw you over. So it will probably happen at least once in this fight, but we'll see. Here we really see the bard shining. It just dealt 10,000 damage to the main body. Like the bard has priority on their sing attacks, and each harp does another like their own unique ability. So we will use Requiem, which deals 1/10 of their current HP, which is really useful because first of all it deals massive damage early on, and later on you can use it to gauge how much HP they have left. Then we also use this blue thingy. Oh, that was a very early particle beam. It was like turn 3. It was unfortunate. Yeah, the other harp casts a barrier on everyone, which reduces all damage by 20%, I believe. So it's really powerful. It's the one we bought in Eureka in the hidden shop. So we cast haste on the mage, and because we want to be faster, because when it casts particle beam it usually becomes slower. It can still outspeed you, so we cast haste to increase our odds at being faster. And as soon as the boss's main body, they drop below 100,000 HP, it can start to use particle beam. And there we saw what we didn't want to see.
Yeah.
On one turn, use particle beam after you healed, and then the next one outsped your healer, even when they had haste, make them faster. It just wipes your entire party. There's nothing you can do. And it was really unlucky, because it was like at 98,000 HP or something, and it instantly started using particle beam. You can get the boss down to like 30,000 HP left. And like before you see particle beam, so it's quite random. But the lower HP it gets, the more likely becomes the particle beam.
あとは装備重量っていうのがあって、でこれ敵も基本的には同じルーチンで動いてるんですね。だからまあ例えば波動砲みたいな強い攻撃の場合は、本来であれ
So
ば
yeah, that was just very unlucky, honestly. Could have gone like 4 more turns without seeing particle beam if he was lucky. The later it uses it, obviously the better. So
波動砲の行動重量が重たいので、まあ基本的に航行するんですけど、
let's hope for the best. That's all we can do.
その補正対象になってますから、これ先制する可能性があるんですね。っていうところでね、結構同じ行動、結果的には同じ行動してるのに、その先制化するか航行するかがブレてしまうっていうところで。
Also, another thing that can go completely wrong in this fight is that the right tentacle can also use haste on the enemy. And if it uses that on the main body, it gets faster and deal more damage with the physical attacks, which is really scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, this fight is just complete horror.
Yep. RNG in its purest form.
Yeah, there's been several runners who have spent hours trying to come up with strategies for this fight, and like we never find one that is really good and works.
Yeah.
It really doesn't exist. The best strategy: grind until you have 4000 HP. That's the best strategy, but it's not that accessible for speedrunners. Let's see if we see particle beam now. Oh, and there we see the haste on the main body too. It's really bad. Luckily, she outsped our healer. If you see the cloud of darkness going last, that usually means it's gonna use particle beam. Because it will be, sometimes it will be slower than the slowest jobs we have available. But other times, like you saw there, she outsped our ninja. It's like one of the fastest jobs out there. This is also scary because the healing isn't keeping up with the intense damage. As you can see, Luneth only has like 1100 HP instead of full. Red mages only have 3 Koragas each, so it doesn't take much before they run out.
Yeah, and the miss from the shuriken too.
Yeah, very unfortunate. At least it didn't use particle beam this turn, so he's gonna heal to full, so okay. Also, haste only lasts for like 5 turns, so the main body is soon gonna lose it, luckily.
Also here, like with Arc, we alternate between using the Apollo harp and the Lamia harp to like deal damage with one and build the barrier with the other until when is it? Until the Lamia harp deals like 3000 damage?
Yeah, or like 2000 usually.
2000. Yeah, at that point we're just going to stay on the Apollo harp and use Chocobo Rats instead. This is not looking great.
Yeah, but it's still doable. As long as it's... Oh. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, as long as it stays slow and attacks after your healer, but yeah. But this is how this boss is. It can just happen at any time.
Yeah.
And there's quite literally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, like it's extremely unfortunate. You could get a good run up until here and then lose everything.
Yeah.
ギリギリまでに収めたいです。
倒しますんで。
はい。あとでももう、一旦しのげば、
Well, third time's the charm, right?
そうだったんで。
3万8000ぐらいでしたよ。
It's like Garuda, I think.
かなり。
ちょっと投げるのね、ダメージブレるんですよ。
Hopefully, hopefully.
6000ぐらいとかの時ありましたよね。
投げるの乱数が1.0か1.1倍から1.9倍っていう結構幅が広い乱数なんで低いのを引くとねちょっと大変になります。
ちょっとそれぐらいの差でしたね。
Okay, good first turn at least. This fight can actually go wrong straight from the beginning. You're very, very unlucky. You can just like one-shot the bard or the ninja.
Yeah, like if it deals like 2 physical hits with or rather 2 critical hits, can definitely kill them.
Before they get turtle shell.
あとは赤間の方で、ケアルダと亀の甲羅入れ終わった後はね。
Okay, so this is the first possible turn we can see particle beam. Hopefully we don't see it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's just how it is sometimes. It's not guaranteed to use particle beam, as you've seen sometimes, but once it starts, it usually doesn't stop using it for a very long time, so...
Yeah, I mean, I've seen runs where the Cloud of Darkness only uses physical attacks, which I don't know how that's possible, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Or like use it only, use the particle beam only once or twice.
Yeah, that's like insane. Even with the like using save states and actively manipulating the RNG, it's still really hard to prevent her from using it. Okay, so it's got like it's got like 54,000 HP left, based off of how much the bard did.
Only physical attacks. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, there we saw an attack from the tentacle. Scary stuff. Oh,
no
okay.
particle beam.
Yeah. Is he finally getting the luck he needs?
Yep.
It's hard to tell because all this boss needs is a single turn of bad luck and then you lose instantly. Okay. I think the heal's off right after the particle beam. That is very ideal. I think we're actually like 35,000 HP. Now that's like 27. So now 25, 24. So we are actually close, but it's gonna use particle beam now, so if it outspeeds next turn, then that's it. Here he's using Chocobo's Wrath with the Bard, because he knows it's low on HP.
ある程度もうダメージ削れちゃうと、
I have like 15,000 left. It may die next turn if he's lucky.
そっちの方がダメージ出る。
He got the heal off, so hopefully the ninja survives. You really need the ninja to survive this.
Okay.
Okay. Turtle shell is worn off for the bard.
ここでこう、まあ、削り切れるときにだったらね、こう、攻めたりすることはありますけど、一応守りながら。
Ah, there it is.
はい。
There it is. Fantastic.
GG.
いやー、
Really well done by Saul.
なんか5分くらいロスするから。
3:45:19.
That's a very respectable time.
Yeah, indeed.
Like, this wasn't even like a fantastic run or anything, and he still gets like times like those.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a really good runner.
Yeah, he really is. Makes me want to get back into this game.
まあでも冬大陸編も大した事故もなくいっていい感じだな。
Route all bosses as well.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a very good thing, because also I think that he's basically the only active runner, at least for this category.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
予定タイム以内で走り切れたので、まあ、良かったかなというところです。はい。はい。
We have like a small community, and sometimes we have people who run the game. It's really nice.
yeah.
このように暗闇の雲とかガルーダで
I think they just stick together. That's a nice thing about this community.
Yeah, it's come a long way. PC port really helped as well, especially with the auto battle update and item dupe.
Yeah.
20分下がったところから盛り上がり、最後ねラスボスで並んだりとか、盛り上がったので、まあね。
GG. Are we gonna see like the ending cutscene too? Or I don't know.
かなり難易度的にはね優しい RTA になってます。なので、まあ
I guess it depends what they have planned.
ちょっと RPG の RTA 入りたいけど難しいのはなって思っていらっしゃる方がいたら、まあ、このゲームからね入ってみるのはかなりおすすめだと思います。私も初めての RTA このゲームだったので、まあ始めてほしいなと思います。で、まあね並走とかできたらいいなと思ってます。まあそのくらいで。アジンさんいかがでしたか？
いや本当にね、いろんなこう紆余曲折ありましたけれども、まあ最後にはうまくねこうまとめてくれました。
Here, want to point out this cutscene takes place in this ship, the Invincible. So right there, I think, if you still have Unai in your party, that's where this cutscene will be interrupted. So that's like, yeah, that's really funny. Maybe one time we'll get to show that off in a marathon or an event.
Maybe.
Maybe, who knows?
If they create like a weird glitch type of event, perhaps.
Yeah.
この場をね用意してくださった RTA In Japan の運営の方だったり、まあ、ボランティアスタッフ、あとイングリッシュリストリームで、今回ね解説担当してくださったフェニックスさんだったり、エンデッシュさんも確か解説するとは言ってたんですけど、どうだったか忘れま確認したいので分かんないですけど、あと
Final T-pose
こうやってマイクとかパーカーとかね提供してくださった協賛企業の方だったり、いろんなね方が関わってこうやって RTA In Japan が運営されてるんだなってまあ思いました。
The ship that we still have.
ありがとうございました。まだまだRTA In Japan もね、あとそろそろね折り返しですけど、まだまだ続くので、これからもね楽しんで見ていただければと思います。というところで締めの挨拶にさせていただこうかなと思います。こんな感じでいいですかね。
はい。では、ありがとうございました。
はい、ありがとうございました。さよなら。
バイバイ。
変わるかな。
Oh, there we go.
I think that's it. Thanks for having me. It was a blast commentating here and with you, Phoenix. It was really nice.
Yeah, thank you for having me as well. It was really, really nice. And as I said before, this is the first time I'm commentating, so I was like really, really nervous.
You did a good job.
Thank you. You did splendid.
Thank you. So yeah, good luck to all of the rest of the runners.
Yes.
I'm signing off.
Let me check who is next. There's a Wise Origin, I think.